It's podcadzo.
You want to do a quick intro?
No.
No. All right, everyone. Welcome to podcadzo.
I said I didn't want to do an
Julian
intro,
just said he didn't want to do a quick intro.
but we're doing it anyway.
So
I
this will
guess.
be the quickest intro because Julian doesn't want to participate.
If you clicked on the link, you already know what you're doing here. There doesn't need to be an intro. The intro is what the name of the episode is, right? And the little thumbnail, that's how people know what this episode's about.
Maybe not this time.
Are you gonna dupe people? Are you gonna clickbait people?
You know I'm a perfectionist. I hate to break theme.
We should clickbait people.
We've established. Should this episode be called something like "You'll never believe what
You'll never believe
Lindsay Lohan looks like now"?
No, it should be like, you'll never believe the beetle that I pulled out of my ass.
I think it's time to just get right into it.
Yeah.
Was that enough of kind of bearing the lead a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
There's so much pressure on us to
Put out a high quality product.
after putting out 52 episodes of high quality podcasts, just thinking about doing it week after week, and especially the intro bits like what we're doing right now.
Which again, I didn't even want to do.
Well, yeah, because it's so taxing.
Yeah, my mental health is in the trash right now because of this.
Completely. My mental is in the trash for several reasons, but one of them
This is not helping.
Nothing with this podcast helps.
No. Last time you were all like, this podcast makes my outlook better. I'm happier now.
I was trying really hard, Julian.
It was obvious that it was a lie. And everyone saw through it. In fact, people were hitting me up afterwards. They're like, yo, is Colin okay? Like, he really seems like he's at the bottom of the barrel right now. Like,
yeah, a few of my friends said, you seem worse than ever.
Yeah.
And we're worried about you.
And I just always say, if there's nothing you can do, there's nothing that he wants you to do.
No.
He prefers it this way.
There's nothing anyone can do.
Yeah. You want the misery.
I think we should just introduce.
Yeah. We're talking about gay porn today.
With Lindsay Lohan. No, in reality, guys, we're not talking about that.
No.
And in reality,
we're watching it.
This is the title of the podcast because I guarantee tomorrow when I'm editing this or making the thumbnail, I'm going to be too afraid to break with the theme that we've developed over 52 episodes, which is naming the podcasts appropriately and putting a descriptive title in there and a thumbnail that makes sense and fits the episode.
Yeah.
Now, does it work at all? I don't think so.
It
Do the
clearly
thumbnails
doesn't.
draw any views on YouTube? Obviously not.
Nope.
Would it be responsible for us to try something different with the thumbnails? Yes. See what works. But I'm not going to.
No.
Because when I look back at this and see a long list of thumbnails, out of nowhere, see us break an aesthetic that we've developed over 52 episodes, I won't be able to live with that.
Yeah.
That
Oh, no, I wouldn't want you
me.
to.
Anyways,
We're introducing the episode.
we're introducing. So I don't even know proper
Why
mic.
did you get so close?
I haven't even learned proper mic technique.
Animal, dude.
This week on podcadzo.
You should try doing the whole intro with your teeth touching, you know? Like, where you talk like this.
This week on podcadzo, we have a returning guest who has joined the podcast 3 times now. His name is Conor Sanders.
He's your friend.
He's our friend. He
He's
loves
your
you very
friend.
much. Dude, come on. Don't play that. Okay, I'm going to cut there because I don't want to introduce Conor with my teeth touching. That was disrespectful to him.
Yeah.
This week on podcadzo, we were talking about the band Queens of the Stone Age with our friend.
Your friend.
Better friend of mine. Probably likes me more than he
I've
likes
never met him
you in person.
I've never met him in person. He's like, what I have is like weird podcast friends who I Zoom with who I've never met. Like other people just have like weird people that catcall them on the internet.
I don't even have podcast friends. I have 2 friends. I have Connor. I have 3 friends. I have Connor. I have my friend Nate. What's up, Nate?
Shout out, Nate.
I have Dan, who's on the podcast.
Just 2 out of your 3 friends have been on the podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna get Nate on one day.
What about me?
You're a You're a podcast
we're work
co-host.
associates.
You're a bandmate, a work associate, a living
Part-time lover.
living roommate. And that's it. I draw the line at lover.
I can't even be a full-time lover.
Will,
I only
the other
get
member of
20 hours a
QOTSA?
week.
Yeah, true. Will, the other member of podcadzo, mortal enemy, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason he's in podcadzo is because you're fueled by hatred, so.
I didn't even mean to say QOTSA.
Cadzo.
Will
yeah.
is such a mortal enemy.
He's
we
not
won't
part of the
even have
podcast.
this. Yeah, we won't even have it on the podcast.
Should we throw to the episode now?
Let's start the episode. Everyone, please enjoy
Alright.
Queens
Happy
of the
Pride
Stone
Month.
Age.
I have beef with both.
What?
I have beef with both of you.
Oh, cool. Great. Can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah, you're gonna hear about it, and you're gonna probably feel pretty stupid. Once
This
you hear
is
what I
the
have
thing
to
about
say.
putting your shit out for the world to hear is that people oftentimes are like, you're an idiot, I disagree with you, and then you have to deal with that.
I'm not saying you're an idiot. I'm just saying I have a couple of bones to pick.
Especially doing a podcast with zero preparation where we just review a top 100 albums list.
Yeah.
And we just go through and say,
Yeah.
I disagree.
Yeah, just shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I think we got the technical difficulties ironed out.
All right.
Everybody, please
Nice.
welcome to podcadzo Conor Sanders.
Let's hear about the fucking drama.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for
Please
having me
air
back,
your
guys,
grievances.
Air your dirty
Honored to
laundry
be
for the
here.
world to hear.
All right. Let me bring up my notes. I didn't take notes on everything because it would have been hours. But
Like-
first off, Julian said in your quest to just be so contrarian and not think Nirvana should be in the top 10, you mentioned that Jar of Flies should have been in there. I would have said Dirt. I would have put Dirt in the top 100.
Alice
Okay.
in Chains?
Yeah,
Dirt?
if I was going to
that's
do an
a good
Alice in
one.
Chains record, I think Dirt is a much more important record than Jar of Flies.
Okay. Talking,
That's a nitpick.
Yeah,
that's a nitpick.
That's picking apart a hypothetical. I like
That's
it,
a
though.
nitpick. Yeah,
I like it, though.
Yeah,
I
okay.
completely
This
agree.
is just the notes, and I might have been. These were some late night notes. I'll say that.
Either one of them
Oh,
should
da-
have been on there instead of Nirvana, though.
Well, not instead of Nirvana. I think they both should have been on there.
Nope.
Julian's such a tool when it comes to Nirvana.
And he doesn't
He's
even
such a
have.
dickhead.
He doesn't even have like an argument.
No,
It's
he
just
doesn't.
Like,
no.
what,
I don't like the
really,
way Kurt
he
Cobain
can't let
sings.
himself like something that's popular.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Oh, okay. Here's one for Daft Punk. You said you missed a boat on Daft Punk. I was up into that. I was in the same boat until very recently, and then I got really into Alive 2007. I
Okay.
think that is a good. It's great workout album, really good. So, note, you guys not knowing who Robin was crazy.
This is the one I was worried about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've never heard Dancing on My Own?
I still have not heard it.
Maybe I've heard it.
I've
I'm in
mentioned.
the corner watching you kiss her.
I don't think I've heard that.
Whoa,
No, I don't think so.
I'm giving it my all, but I'm not the girl you're taking home. Okay.
I
well,
feel like that was a pretty faithful rendition, and I still don't.
I think you need to go
recognize
back
it.
and it's like, dude, it's like dance pop. It's sick. I would highly recommend Robin.
Okay.
Okay.
I said Illmatic overrated ?
Overrated.
What do we think?
Hmm.
I think that Illmatic, maybe there are other albums that are better than it. And
Why?
A lot of people.
Other Nas albums or just other rap albums in general?
No, just other rap albums in general. Like it's not my favorite. I don't. It's not like a top 5 all time rap album for me.
Damn.
I used to really like it when I was younger. It's good, but I just think there is better stuff out there from the 90s. Like I would have loved them. I don't think it shouldn't have been on the top 100, but I would have loved to see some Wu-Tang solo projects in there, like some Supreme Clientele, Only Built for Cuban Links.
Yeah.
and a couple Method Man records could have been on there. So, yeah, just overall, I mean, yeah, I don't think Omatic's overrated, but I would have liked to see more rap and more East Coast rap. And
Well, we were talking about it afterwards, and we thought the amount of rap albums on there, like we saw a pie chart of the breakdown of genres.
Yeah, it was
and
like
it was almost
mostly rap.
half rap
Yeah.
on the list.
Really?
More
Yeah.
rap than any other genre.
Yeah, more rap than any other genre. I don't know about half, but yeah, rap
well,
definitely dominated.
maybe
I can find the
I'd
pie
have
chart
to
real
go. I'd have to go more in depth and see what I'd take out. But I would, out of all of them, I would love to have seen Supreme Clientele. Oh, Liquid Swords too. I think Supreme Clientele and Liquid Swords are like non-debatable top 100s. And
Yeah, I agree.
only those for Cuban links personally would be in mind, but I liked where 36 Chambers was. No Vampire Weekend. So
Yeah, I kind of figured.
stupid list. Throw Modern Vampires in the 90s just for. There, he's on your network, man. He should
Truly.
leave Apple Music. He should leave Apple Music.
I would feel very dissed if I were Ezra not being on there.
Especially Modern Vampires is fucking such a remarkable album.
It is.
Too.
It's very important. Yeah,
it's easily top 100 all time.
The lack of just indie rock in general was pretty appalling.
Yeah, they really were like 2000. Like it was very different from what like a Pitchfork list would have been.
Oh yeah,
I'll say that
completely.
much.
Or even like I feel like Rolling Stones gives more love to Rolling Stone magazine gives more love to indie rock, because like the only one I can remember is Strokes being on there.
But I think that's Apple's whole thing is like we're the cool kids. We're like the new kids on the block.
We like what the kids today like.
Yeah. So it was 21% rap and 18% rock, and then 16% pop, 14% alternative, and then 11% R&B and soul.
Okay. All right. I also said somebody at Apple owed Jay-Z a favor because the Blueprint, that is a record I was thinking of. The Blueprint is not that good.
It probably shouldn't have been as high as it was.
Yeah, it was.
But
surprised.
if we're talking like influentialness, that's
I don't have an issue with it in the top 100, but it being that high and other albums not being on there that I think are just better.
Yeah.
That's I just had to. I'm not a huge Jay-Z fan.
No, am I.
You guys both saying "Damn" was your favorite Kendrick record was quite a take. I don't agree.
I think these days it is. It wasn't always though.
I listened to "Damn" the most, which is just why I said that.
It was T-Pab for a really long time for me.
T-Pab is so good, and I really like Good Kid, Mad City too, and I really like the one before it, Section 80. You guys. Oh, never mind. You're good. But I disagreed with that, but I guess it's a good album. Frank Ocean. You guys don't like Frank Ocean?
He's just someone I've had trouble like accessing on the same level that other people seem to. Like I've never just connected with him as much as the general population seems to.
Yeah,
but I don't hate Frank Ocean. Yeah,
it's not a dislike thing. He's like my girlfriend's favorite artist of all time. So
yeah,
it could just be an exposure.
It's good. It's
too.
good girlfriend music. Mm-hmm. Lots of girlfriends like Frank Ocean.
Sure.
I think Blonde is definitely super good. I like Blonde a lot, so I wanted to stand up for Blonde. Also, lastly, I said podcadzo hates women? ?
Why?
I don't know. Just there are a lot of negative comments about women artists.
We were very positive about Carole King. We were very positive about Lauryn Hill.
You said Billie Eilish, talentless, trash. You said the only reason that she was good was because she had her brother writing all her songs.
Who said that?
That sounds like
you guys said that. You guys both said that in unison. Yeah. Beyonce. You guys said you thought Beyonce was an AI generated piece of corporate equipment.
I don't think we said AI generated.
I think with the Beyonce one, I just didn't know.
It was pretty hard. I thought it was harsh too. I thought it was harsh too when you guys said it.
I thought I defended that.
I remember being surprised that Lemonade was number 10 on the list.
No, you guys did. I was just joking around. You guys don't hate women.
I mean, if you look at the topics we
Lemonade is great.
covered-
No, Julian said Lemonade's a great album, and it is a great album. I think her self-titled album is better. There's a song on her self-titled album called Partition, and it is it's such a good song.
With like the Rihanna selection, I just don't know. Like I don't know that album at all.
I think that album's pretty overrated on there.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
mid.
And then,
I also think Billie Eilish that high is nuts.
Yeah, I think the main thing with Billie Eilish, it's not that she's a
And I
woman,
like
although
Billie
that
Eilish.
doesn't help her case at all. The main thing with Billie Eilish is just that, like, God, dude, it's just she's been around for such a short amount of time. How can we already be saying she's one of the best of all time? And like,
I like her, and I've liked all three of her albums, but I don't think she's come out with an album that's like incredible yet.
Yeah.
I think that album's really good, but I don't think I think she's still, like, her last album was good too, but I think she still has like a great album in her, and I don't really think it's come out yet.
I think she's still trying to
personally.
figure out like what she's gonna do to be sustainable for the long term.
Just the
Yeah.
universal praise
Yeah.
she received right off the bat from like everyone bothered me.
Yeah,
for some
she's,
reason.
like, the critics'
like her
choice.
sweeping the Grammys that one year was crazy, and I don't know. Yeah, it just feels like she's like so in with the industry.
Yeah.
She can do no wrong.
Mhm.
That aspect has bothered me.
She is like an industry sweetheart for someone who also tries to be like the outsider.
Be edgy, yeah, act like an outcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Final thought. A couple other honorable mentions. Cocktail Twins. I would put Cocktail Twins on there.
Yeah.
I think that album's incredible. I think Remain in Light is great.
Okay.
You guys are kind of beefing on Remain in Light. I love that album.
I love that album too. I just thought of the Talking Heads discography. That was an interesting choice.
I don't know if it's my favorite, but it does not surprise me at all if that's the one that they went with.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like that's like it's not their, I think their commercial peak was Speaking in Tongues.
Yeah.
But I think their like creative and like critical, receptive peak, and like their peak with Brian Eno was Remain in Light.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of their masterpiece. So I didn't have a problem with that being the one that was on there.
Okay. No, I think that's fair.
I think my favorite by them is Speaking in Tongues, but it's definitely less experimental. Like Remain in Light is super arty and weird, and there's a lot of really weird guitar stuff. This guy Adrian Blue, I think is his name. The guy who plays a lot of the guitar on the album.
He did a lot of Bowie's stuff.
Yeah. There are like, I think it's a song. I think it's called A Big Curve. He has the whole album has some really cool guitar work by him, and the story how that whole album came together is super cool. But yeah,
there was
also defending that album a little bit.
No, I appreciate that. There, after we recorded the album, like recorded that episode, I was thinking about it for days after, and so many albums popped in my head that should have been on the list. I should have wrote them down, but the one that I remember right now is Modern Lovers. The Modern Lovers
Dude,
album.
I almost wore my Modern Love. Look, I literally had it on the couch when I was deciding what to wear on your podcast. This was my runner-up for my shirt. Was my Modern Lovers.
Jonathan Richman.
Yeah. No, yeah. I would have put Modern Lovers self-titled or that Jonathan Richman I Jonathan album.
Yeah.
Either of those could have. Those are. But I think that original Modern Lovers album is so influential and so good.
Yeah.
And like
it's very, very important.
That was like such laying the groundwork for like punk and post-punk
exactly
on that album, and it's indie rock and just so many. That's such a influential album. Absolutely.
I remember
good call. Great call.
Thank you. I remember the other one that I thought was a huge miss too. Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures.
Oh,
as far as like seminal albums go, that is the most seminal album.
Joy Division and
Any New Order.
Yeah, Age of Consent would be great.
Yeah.
And just throw Age of Consent on there. Great call on those two. Yeah, I mean, you can't hit them all.
No,
Only
you
100
can't
albums,
please
but
everyone, so you got to
there
please
are
yourself.
some albums I could have. Yeah, I think it'd be pretty easy to take 60 albums off of that list that I could pretty easily do without.
Yeah.
And fill in better options.
I agree.
Well, while we're going through the list, Connor, you also mentioned us talking about IMDb without you.
Yes.
International Movie Database.
Yeah. Yes. I'm a big IMDb guy.
I know you are. I think you probably showed me the app way back in the day, and I've been obsessed with IMDb since then. I spend more time just mindlessly scrolling IMDb than I do Instagram or any other social media.
I could be like excited. I could be excited for a movie to come out for like a solid year, and then it'll come out and have like a 6.9 on IMDb, and I was like, oh, all right, guess I'm not seeing
skip.
it.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Yeah, I know. I hold that shit's gospel to me. Julia,
but I have a secret talent where any movie on IMDb, I can get the score of the movie within 0.2. Give it plus minus.
That is an amazing talent. So I think we were talking about it with the Bob Marley movie, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen that yet? Or I'm assuming you haven't because of the rating on IMDb.
Yeah, had a poor rating. Yeah, bad rating. Didn't look very good, personally, to me. I think this may very well be the last time that anyone ever talks about that movie.
I think so. I think we may have been one of the only podcasts
I think it will
to begin
very
with.
quickly fade into irrelevance. Yeah,
that's a shame.
Yeah. This is really this movie's peak.
It just
in terms of popularity, as I was talking about it on podcadzo.
They were really promoting it because it came out like around the time of Dune 2, maybe a little bit before, and I saw as many Bob Marley promotions and trailers as I did Dune 2 trailers. So,
well, I think
big letdown.
I never actually saw either of the Dunes, but
dude,
big letdown for the studio.
You have to.
What were we talking about?
We're talking about IMDb.
Gay sex? Oh yeah, IMDb.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think there was a big swing and a miss with the Bob Marley movie.
Indeed.
Cool. Well, I think I got everything off my chest I needed to about the top 100 albums.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I feel a lot better now.
Yeah. You'll sleep
that
easy
wasn't
tonight.
as bad as I thought it would be.
I honestly was planning on coming in a little more aggressive, and I kind of softballed you guys.
Oh, damn. I mean,
because I like you.
Saying that we hate women is not a softball by any means.
Well, yeah, but that was just
on the internet.
Was really
he eased up quickly.
That was a bit that didn't really land.
I found it very funny.
Yeah, so I wasn't ever serious about that, but it was a little too deadpan in the delivery, I think.
It doesn't matter if you're serious or not. It just matters how the internet feels about it. So it was nice.
That's true, but I think there's a lot to be learned there. That if your joke is that hard to tell, if your joke people, I don't know, it's a fine line. We don't have to get into a debate about. But people are just like, oh, it's a joke, guys. Come on, I'm joking. It's like, all right, you can't always use that as an excuse.
Yeah, right.
Either, but
sometimes it's just offensive.
A majority
and
of people think your joke sucks and that you've made you sound mean and like a dick, then maybe you should work on your joke.
It wasn't that funny.
Maybe it wasn't funny. It made everybody mad. Nobody laughed.
Maybe you're just a comedian that pushes boundaries.
Yeah, maybe you're ahead of your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm doing Rogan right after this.
Oh, nice.
So,
please plug us on Rogan.
I will. I'm gonna be like, I just came off of this great show podcadzo.
This shitty podcast that hates women.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, oh my god, 5 million listeners overnight.
I don't think I can handle
fucking love shitty. If you like shitty podcasts that hate women,
yeah.
As soon as you're done with the Joe Rogan Experience, you can hop on over to podcadzo.
Do a victory lap on the podcadzo.
I got a pod for you.
All right,
Okay.
Connor. Well, we do really appreciate your feedback on Apple Music Top 100.
I can tell it's appreciated.
We'll
But
have
Yeah.
to.
anytime you guys want my feedback on your opinions in general, I'm pretty happy to provide them. So.
I will go back and I'll reassess my opinions about Billie Eilish.
That was your takeaway, Billie Eilish.
That was my takeaway.
Yeah, listen to all three of her albums. My favorite song by her is "Happier Than Ever." I think that's a great song.
I have heard that song. It's pretty
Great
pretty
slow
sad,
burn.
dude.
Great slow burn of a song. Yeah, I listened to it a lot during my last breakup.
Oh, that's tough.
Not to get too deep. Yeah. Ooh, ouch.
Do you want to talk more about that?
Yeah, let's really dive
we
in.
could get really in depth with that if you guys wanted to. But I can't right now.
Okay,
Signed
we'll
an
save
NDA.
that for the next episode.
NDA. All right.
Yeah.
Well, what we're really here to talk about, other than breakups, is a band that's near and dear to all of us.
No, I'm just providing background music. Sorry. I was adding to the hype.
Yeah, it was just do it again. Let's start that again. What we're
Okay,
here,
all right.
what we're really here to talk about is a band that's near and dear to all of us. A band that has loomed large in all of our playlists. A band that has been influential to alt rock in general since the late 90s. That band is Queens of the Stone Age.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
That worked really well.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Sweet intro, guys.
Really sweet.
Intro. Really sweet.
Yeah, that might have to become a
Cool.
standard way to introduce topics. Jesus.
Topics in general.
Topics in general.
Things that we discuss.
So Connor, you saw
Yeah.
Queens of the Stone Age live in concert at
I did.
the what's the venue called? The Santa
Santa
Barbara
Barbara
Bowl.
Bowl.
The Santa Barbara Bowl.
Hell yeah.
SB Bowl for short.
SB Bowl. Julian and I saw them way back in September of last year.
September 29th.
29th.
At Fiddler's,
at
you
Fiddler's
said?
Green Amphitheater. Yeah.
Or Comfort Dental Amphitheater, I believe.
I don't think it's Comfort Dental anymore. I think it's just Fiddlers
Oh.
again.
Yeah, I think it's back to
Oh.
being Fiddlers.
Yeah.
Man, that's too bad.
Is it? You feel bad for the Comfort Dental boys?
I grew up with Comfort Dental Amphitheater, so
Yeah. I remember when they changed it over.
yeah, no, I don't think anyone called it that. They probably realized it wasn't a very good investment. But how is Comfort or how is Fiddler's Green as a venue? I've actually never been there. I've heard mixed things about it.
The Queen's show was the best show I've ever seen there. I think by far.
Okay.
I hadn't seen a show there in years, and I remembered having a negative experience there. I didn't think very much of the venue, but I thought it was fantastic. I thought the sound was good. It was well organized. It was nice sitting out on the grass.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a fan of Fiddler's Green
Nice.
now.
Most importantly, the sound
Nice.
was very good. Like I could hear
Nice.
everything pretty goddamn good for an amphitheater.
I think that probably has a lot to do with the band too.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they were a really good sounding band. The Santa Barbara Bowl is sick. It's basically just like a mini Red Rocks. It's about half the size of Red Rocks. I think it's about 5,000 people. But natural amphitheater in the like foothills, Santa Barbara. There's a super cool bar like at the top. You have this great view of the whole city. It's like super scenic. My buddy was in town from Colorado who hadn't been to Santa Barbara before, and so he got to. It was a cool thing for him to see, and then yeah, the band was just sick. They crushed it. But the only bummer was there's a super hard curfew of I think 10 p.m. there, so it was not a super long set, probably hour and a half set. Could have watched them play for 3 hours easily.
Well, we
They
were
were
just
so good.
we were just comparing set lists between our two shows, and you actually got one more song than we did.
Did
even
we?
at ours.
I need to look up my set list. I meant to do that before because
Yeah.
it was a couple weeks ago now. But it felt. I don't know. I guess I just wish all concerts were 3 hours long. But
Yeah.
and especially a band like that. It has so many good songs.
Yeah, there's so many songs
You
that I
just
want to hear from each
wish-
album.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I want to hear like 40 songs. So, which is not
Not necessarily feasible.
but
Yeah.
yeah. But it was awesome. It was everything I wanted it to be. They did a really great jam on "Make It With You."
Mm-hmm.
They did like a 10-minute jam on that song. They did "Battery Acid" was probably the deepest cut they played. They did "If Only," I think. Is that what they did off of the self-titled? I think they did "If Only." Oh yeah, they started with "Little Sister," which was sick.
Yeah, we got a Little Sister, which was a highlight of our
First
show.
time as an opener since 2005.
Yeah, which is pretty nuts.
Wow.
Yeah. They did. I really thought that they did do "If Only." Maybe I was thinking of "Collapsia." I don't know,
Maybe.
but
And
either
they
way,
did threes and sevens, which is a fucking banger.
We got almost
such a banger,
no
dude.
Era
So we got
Vulgaris
three
at our show.
We got we got three Era Vulgaris.
They
Yeah,
don't
"Make It
really
With
play
You"
that
10
much
minute
of that.
10-minute plus version, including a drum. Yeah, he had the audience sing along.
Yeah.
With "Make It With You," and like was getting louder, and did that for like 5 straight minutes. He was entertaining himself.
We
got 18 songs.
Yeah, we got to Make It With You jam at our
did the
show,
same
and they did a
thing.
sing along, but I don't think
10
it wasn't
minutes.
10 minutes.
No.
No way.
It was like probably 6 minutes,
Yeah.
maybe 7 tops.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did like the quiet part where they like make it really, they like get really, really
Mhm.
soft and basically just have the audience like whisper the
Yeah.
chorus, and then they get louder. Fucking
Yeah.
Josh Homme takes like 4 different
We did
guitar
that.
solos.
Yeah. Oh my God, the guitar, man. All 3 of them. Josh Homme. What's the other guy's name?
There's Troy
Troy
Van
Van
Leeuwen,
Leeuwen.
and then
Yeah,
there is fucking Dean Fertitta.
Right.
There was. I remember. Me and my brother were like, I wonder how they're gonna get these tones like at the show, and then it was like, oh, I guess they have 3 guitar players. So.
Easily is how they get their guitar tones.
Yes.
From the looks of it, they
Yeah.
just make it all
It's
seem so
effortless.
effortless.
Dude, they really do, but it can't be that easy, and it's so thick and just juicy and sounded. Everything was so dialed in with the tones. Like
Yeah.
I think that was the most impressive thing. Like Little Sister, great example right off the bat. Like I was like, how's he gonna do that live? The little beep, beep, and it just sounded perfect. And I'm like,
Yeah.
like okay, cool. I guess he's got it pretty locked in.
No,
So,
that's exactly the biggest takeaway Julian and I had from when we saw them.
Yeah.
Like, man, what amazing guitar players, and it was Tone City
The production
all night
value
long.
was
Yeah,
insane.
like because I always knew
Yeah.
like Josh Homme, great guitar player, Troy Van Leeuwen, great guitar player. Them just as a band have such a unique guitar style, but I never really fully appreciated what virtuosos they are.
When you have
on the
like
guitar.
3
Yeah.
guitar players playing live, usually it just becomes kind
a
of like a
mess
guitar
usually.
soup.
Yeah,
But you can
Well,
hear
yeah,
like
exact-
each individual tone and each individual player like distinctly
It was-
well. They all
it was
stood
so
out from each
perfect.
other. Yeah.
well, it like also makes sense that Josh Homme, whatever, either produced or co-produced like all their albums.
mm-hmm.
So he clearly he created the sound to start, so it's
Yeah,
probably
that's-
easier to recreate on stage. You'll notice that with, not to bring up Vampire Weekend, but old Vampire Weekend shows with Rostam on stage
Yeah,
are like way tighter, and like the modern Vampire songs I think sound way better with him on stage because he's basically like producing the whole song in the background as it's going, and
I
I
completely
think
agree.
so it comes through on stage when the guy, he knows how to make that sound. So
Losing Rossum was a immeasurable loss to VW. He was such a
It was.
powerhouse for the
I was
band.
super happy that they bounced back with their latest album because I did think it was really good.
Yeah, me too.
But for their live show, yes, I really wish I could have seen them live with Rostam.
I actually meant to send you the link to this, Connor. I just stumbled across videos that I'd seen before, but forgot about. Vampire Weekends back in the Contra days in 2010 did this Pitchfork YouTube series called Live from Juan's Basement, I think.
Okay.
And the versions of they do songs off of Contra, and those versions are so good. And
Okay.
just watching him do
Send
it in
me
the
that.
basement is super rad. So I'll send you the link.
Send me that for sure.
Yes.
But this isn't a Vampire Weekend episode, guys. This is a Queens of Stone Age episode.
I did have some things with you two I wanted to mention real quick too.
Oh my God, you guys! Oh, that was the other. Oh, that I forgot. I did have a couple other things about the top 100.
Oh, great!
Bones pick with Joshua Tree being on there.
Yeah, you guys just freaking out about Joshua Tree at 49. Like they're not in them and Apple Music don't have hands in each other's pants to begin with.
Well, we made that
Was
joke.
just
Yeah,
God, I almost turned it off.
which
And
is
then,
pretty shit.
you guys. The other thing is you guys and your Radiohead sucking off just Thom Yorke just Thom Yorke just cock down your throat. And you go,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think Kidda is the best album of all time. No, I think OK Computer is the best album of all time.
You don't like Radiohead,
I just never,
Connor?
I never have gotten Radiohead, man.
That's
I don't know.
so interesting.
I've tried, man. I have tried.
I mean, they're definitely not for everybody.
Well, your taste on everything else
respect
is
it.
good, so.
I guess I respect them.
Yeah.
But it's just, and then guys like you come along and you're just like, oh my God, the two best albums ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
I mean, all their albums are.
Any of the albums.
If I was to make a top 100, I think pretty much all the Radiohead albums would end up in my top 100, except for like.
I think
Pablo
I would
Honey
have to
and
rate
Moonshaped
Pablo
Pool.
Honey would be number one for me. Because
Big Creep guy.
the song "Creep" is so good. Yeah, that's their best song by far.
I mean, you are kind of a weirdo.
Critics agree that Pablo Honey, that's a great album.
Pulls it in. All right.
This isn't the Radiohead episode, guys. This is the Queens of Stone Age episode.
So let's go back.
Not a single Queens album on the top 100 though. So.
Yeah.
Yes, which doesn't surprise me even a little bit, but
yeah.
I would have. If it was me, I would have had Queens on there, and I would have had Toxicity by System of a Down on there as well. That was another snub.
We actually threw. We were talking about the list after with.
Oh, no Dookie on there either.
Oh yeah, that's a big miss.
Dude,
the only punk album was
There's
London
one punk
Calling.
album, yeah.
It was just London Calling.
One metal album.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Metallica.
yeah, fuck, man. I'm just going to keep having shit pop into my head throughout the episode because I'm thinking about music now.
It's funny you mentioned Toxicity, though, because we were talking about the list after with Will, the keyboardist in our band, and I think the first one, the first question he had is, he was like, no System of a Down?
Yeah.
We're like, no
Yeah.
System of a Down.
I agree. I would absolutely have Toxicity, absolutely have Dookie. Velvet Underground, I would have had him on there, but I would have done Loaded. I like Loaded.
Oh, yeah. I like that album. Okay, but Connor, this isn't the Velvet Underground episode.
This is the
the
Velvet
Queens of the
Underground
Stone Age episode.
Are we going to do this similar? Is this going to be similarly structured as to the Steely Dan episode?
I was going to propose as much that we could go into the background of Queens a little bit and then go through the albums, but if you had a different idea, please feel free to pitch it.
No, I just would like to come up with a name.
Oh, yeah.
You Clean and Bone on my Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh, Cleaning Bone. You Stoned Queens aging my Queens of the Stone Age.
You getting stoned while listening to Queens of the Stone Age?
Did Queen ever get stoned, and did surviving members of Queen ever get stoned and listen to Queens of the Stone Age on my bone?
Let's come back. Let's just say let's let that one stew.
Yeah. We can workshop it later.
Put a pin in that last one, Colin. I think
let me write it down real quick because it was kind of intricate.
Yeah, but I think
I really think we got something here. We really got something.
Yeah, well, Julian came up with the last one, so I was kind of waiting for Julian to jump in and participate.
I'm definitely trying really hard to think of something, but the gears just aren't turning.
You don't just have to throw out whatever and see what sticks. Just let it stew.
I'm thinking about adding parenthetical such as Brian May to mine. So
such as Brian May and formerly Paul Rogers of Bad Company or Bachman Turner Overdrive.
Yes.
Did we talk about that on a previous episode?
BTO did
that
come
I was
up.
on.
BTO came up.
Which band Paul Rogers used to be in?
Yep.
I think it ended up being Bachman Turner Overdrive.
I think we're right. All right. Anyways, this isn't the BTO episode. This
This isn't the Paul Rogers and Queen episode.
All right.
All right.
Queens of the Stone Age. Let's get into the background a little bit
Talk
here, guys.
history.
Yeah, let's
And
just
there
jump
is-
right in. We're just gonna jump right into Queens of the
We're
Stone Age.
just-
No,
yeah.
no warm up.
No, don't warm up at all. We're going right in.
No lube.
Yeah.
Yeah, no sand, no spit, no lube, sandpaper finish.
Sandpaper finish,
All right.
baby.
So it is a rich background with Queens of the Stone Age because Josh Homme, very interesting guy, very collaborative guy, very cool musical background. So it'd be wrong to talk about Queens of the Stone Age without talking about Kios.
Yes.
Caius.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it's just
that reminds me.
Kios.
Yes.
It's Sade.
Oh, it's not Sade, it's Sade.
It's Sade.
Oh my God, I know who Sade is.
Sade. Like
Yeah,
another
Sade.
in my head.
That's probably Don't need to ask. He's a
every
smooth
day.
operator.
Like my iPod's stuck on replay.
Smooth
Replay,
operator.
Okay.
Don't need to. All right. Anyway.
Well, thank you, Connor, for that
Yeah,
as well.
gotcha. I didn't want you to walk around looking like an idiot any more than you had to.
Okay,
You
so
probably should get a haircut and change shirts and shave and
re-release
some
that
plastic
one step,
episode.
surgery.
one step at a time, right?
yeah, one.
One step at a time.
All right. Queens of the Stone
All right.
Age. Caius. So,
Josh Homme.
Josh Homme.
Josh Homme.
Let me
Is
just-
that how we're saying it?
Yeah, Homme.
Yep.
Caius,
Okay.
Homme, Joshua.
I think it's yes.
Yes.
Kiss.
Yes.
Okay,
right.
let me read a little
This isn't a
excerpt.
kiss episode.
I'm going to read a little excerpt from Wikipedia here, guys, to get us kicked off. This is the formation of Queens of the Stone Age. After the breakup of his previous band, Kios, in 1995, Josh Homme briefly joined Screaming Trees, rather, as a touring guitarist before deciding to form a new band, Gamma Ray, in 1996.
And
They
I
were-
think, not to interrupt, I think the guitarist from Screaming Trees later played on Songs for the Deaf.
Well, Mark Lanigan was a founding member of Screaming Trees, and he was a permanent member of Queens
Until he
passed
right?
away in
Okay.
2020,
That's that.
somewhere around there,
All right.
2018.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Indeed. I went into Screaming Trees and some of Mark Lanigan's solo stuff recently, and he was a very talented dude.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
In 1996, they released the eponymous Gamma Ray EP featuring Born to Hula and If Only Everything, which would later appear on their self-titled debut as If Only. The EP featured Matt Cameron of Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, Van Connor from Screaming Trees, and percussionist Victor Indrizo. Gamma Ray changed their name in 1997 after the German power metal band Gamma Ray threatened to sue. The name Queens of the Stone Age came from a nickname given to Kios by their producer Chris Grote.
Let's just say if a German power metal band threatens to sue you, you change your name.
You change your name
You
right
do.
away.
You don't argue. You don't go to court with a German power metal band.
Nope.
No, you don't. The resources that they have.
Well, I heard that you guys
Incredible.
wanted to initially name your band Rammstein, but
Yeah.
the German power metal band had something to say about that as well.
Unfortunately, Rammstein did get in touch with us pretty quickly.
We wanted to be the one and only Rammstein.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it could have been Pod Rammstein, so
We'll workshop that one too
We'll
later.
workshop
yeah,
that
well,
one.
yeah. Or Eric will come back, let that one
Yeah.
stew as well. Throw that one in the pot.
Hami said of the name, Kings would be too macho. The Kings of the Stone Age wear armor and have axes and wrestle. The Queens of the Stone Age hang out with the Kings of the Stone Age's girlfriends when they wrestle. Rock should be heavy enough for the boys and sweet enough for the girls. That way everyone's happy and it's more of a party. Kings of the Stone Age is too lopsided. So did you ever even
Nice.
think about that, Julian O'Connor? What Kings of the Stone Age would sound like? How different that would
I
be?
will say, there's a lot of women at the Queens of the Stone Age concert.
Yeah.
And I will say, I bet the average age there was a solid 42.
Same with us.
As a podcast
I felt-
that loves
I
women,
felt young.
I'm all about it being Queens of the Stone Age and being more inclusive because
Yeah.
we love women
I think
here
we
on
can
the
all-
podcadzo program.
Yeah.
I think we can all get together and say that we love chicks here on podcast.
Yes.
I would have even been more okay with beautiful ladies of the Stone Age because Queens is almost too exclusive. It's just
Or-
Oh, that was
Just
the other.
like-
That was the other thing you guys said. You said that you were happy that Paul's Boutique was ranked higher than a lot of other rap albums.
Yeah.
Because of they were white.
Oh, that was a that was a joke because we had just been talking about so many important albums by black hip hop artists
Yeah.
that were all snubs,
It
and
was
then
a-
it was
It was a joke.
It was a yeah.
We were
It was
joking.
the Beastie Boys.
But
But it
Paul's
is very.
Boutique
It would
really
be
good.
very funny to do like a top rap albums and like only have white rappers in the.
Yeah.
in the
See
top
how many
10.
we can
I
scrape
think
together.
I think that joke has maybe been done.
It probably
Probably.
has been. Probably has been.
Yeah.
Um.
Not to. All right.
Anywho.
This isn't the white rappers episode.
No.
I have a whole.
That's
Wait, is
next.
this
That's
wait,
next
week.
week.
wait, is this an episode of white rappers?
I think it is.
It's not. Let's not.
Oh,
Insert
are we
fact
good?
by Eminem here.
Yeah, find a good song. That's the best thing about those bits they do is the songs
Yeah,
he
it's
finds
so funny.
that he plays.
Yeah.
Did you hear the one on the Springsteen one where he's like, "Wait, is this an episode of?" And he
Yeah,
finds that. I don't know what song
I
he
don't know
plays,
either,
but the
but it was
song is
exactly
literally
that,
a guy
yeah.
going like, "Ah!" Fucking so good, dude. It's so stupid, but it's so funny.
But in the U2 one, they
Okay.
did a Todd Glass segment, and they
Stained
played Stained
Glass.
Glass. yeah. Yeah. Anyways, that one was great too. So the naming of Queens of the Stone Age just reminded me. I listened to a podcast with Josh Homme a little bit ago. I forget which podcast he was on, but they were talking about Eagles of Death Metal. Connor, you ever listen to Eagles of Death Metal?
Yeah, so I actually missed it, but after the show, I didn't hear about it until the next day. Me and my buddy went and got like brunch, and we were sitting next to this couple at the bar who had been at the show the night before as well. And there was an after party at this place called Soho downtown, and it was the dude from Eagles of Death Metal was DJing
Oh,
the
shit.
after party.
Jesse,
Yeah.
whatever.
Jesse Hughes
Yeah,
or
and
something.
Hughes, yeah,
that
Hughes.
guy has. You want to talk about takes? That guy has some takes.
He
Oh,
definitely
dude, I know.
does.
After the Bataclan
Yeah.
incident, a
Mhm.
lot of them came out.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I think he said that was an inside job and had a lot of
would have
interesting
never happened
things
if
to say.
everybody there was armed.
yeah.
Yep, he did say that as well. It was a lot of. He had some thoughts, but
If
I
you're
heard
gonna
it was
have
a
a
sick
mustache
party.
like
I was
that-
kind of bummed I didn't go. Yeah.
His
Well-
opinions match his look.
It did.
So he started that. Though he started that band with Josh Homme because Josh Homme was trying to help keep him sober, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
buddies.
And Josh Homme wanted to play drums in a band.
Oh, nice.
But in the
Appreciate it. They did have
podcast,
that one cool song. That song, "I Want You So Hard, I Want You So Good," is a fun jam.
Yeah.
They've got good songs.
yeah, they have some like acoustic ballads.
They have
too,
some
that
acoustic
are
stuff.
very good.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, in the podcast, they were talking about the name of that band, and Josh Homme was like, we were sitting around and we were like, what if the Eagles played death metal? And that was how they came up with the name.
So I remember the fact that band was named Eagles of Death Metal made me think that Queens of the Stone Age was a
reference
thing
to
on the band. Queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing.
Also, you referenced on your top 100, you kept referencing them as the Eagles. It's actually just Eagles.
Anyways, back to Queens of the Stone Age.
Not
Do you
the
like
Queens of the Stone Age.
Eagles, Connor?
No.
Okay, good. Or not good, but
Except for this song, except for Joe Walsh is cool.
yes.
And
We can all agree Joe Walsh is the man.
The song "Those Shoes" by the Eagles and the song "Victim of Love." Those two songs are valid and okay to listen to. The rest of it,
I
get it
know
out of my
those
sight.
shoes.
Ooh, and the live version, "Those Shoes" is sick. "Victim of Love" is sick. You would know "Victim of Love," and the live version of "Seven Bridges Road" makes me cry.
Oh,
So
okay.
those are the three Eagles songs. The rest of them could suck my dick. And the guitar solo in Hotel California, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
But the rest of it, fuck them.
My
That's it. That's really it. That's all I have.
real
for
quick
them.
personal blurb on Joe Walsh. Real quick.
Is this an episode of Eagles.
This. Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Here's my. Here's
Was
my.
that, what was that?
It was a caw.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Caw.
No, I think I did a yaw.
You did a yaw.
You did a yeah. Okay. Anyway,
Is this an
your
episode
take
of You
on
Did a Yaw?
Please, God, don't let it be one.
You're gonna have to go in and post and do some. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
All
gonna
right,
have to hack
but
this
anyway,
one
Joe
up.
Walsh.
My dad was hanging out with the dude who wrote Rocky Mountain Way just the other day.
Okay.
Did Joe Walsh not write that song?
No. Well, maybe he co-wrote it with this dude, but apparently that guy lives in Fort Collins. And my dad met him and hung out with him.
What does
You
he
guys
do?
should see if he wants to write. Oh, do you know who wrote the song? You know the song 13 by Johnny Cash?
Probably.
Off of
I can't.
American Recordings Volume 1?
No, I might recognize that. I don't know off the top of my head, though.
Oh, well, it was written. You should look it up. It's a cool song. It was written by Glenn Danzig.
Oh.
So,
Wow. That's
if you want to hear a
surprising.
Johnny Cash song that was written by Glenn Danzig,
That's the one.
it's as cool as it sounds. Yep,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
probably the only one, I think.
Okay.
Or if you want to listen to a Johnny Cash song that's written by Trent Reznor, not Reznor, then you can listen to the song "Hurt" by Johnny Cash.
He's making fun of the way you said Reznor
You said
Instead of
Reznor like
Reznor.
4 times.
on the last episode.
instead of what?
Instead of Reznor, you
It's
said
Trent
Reznor.
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 It's Reznor. It's just Trent Reznor.
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 Also, the score for The Social Network, one of my favorite movies of all time, the Trent Reznor Atticus Ross score for that movie slaps
That's
so
the one.
hard, dude.
We were talking.
So good,
That's,
dude.
I think that's the one I was thinking of.
We brought up a collab with Atticus Ross.
I listened to that just as an album, dude. It's so good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's cool.
Yeah.
What episode
But
are we in right now?
is this an episode of Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross great movie scores?
I think it's this.
I'll talk about Atticus Ross, but I don't want to
We're
give
like-
another fucking second to Trent Reznor.
We're 4 episodes deep,
Trent
guys.
How deep are we?
I think we're in the 4th mini episode.
Yeah, we're
Wait, are we
within.
do-
It's in an episode within an episode
Within
within
an
an
episode.
episode.
We originally started
Yeah.
in Eagles,
See,
I think.
we
It was
don't.
Joe
We don't
Walsh.
have.
Eagles.
We don't have the
Bengals.
training that those guys have because those guys never forget to exit out of however many episodes they're in.
It's truly
That's
remarkable.
Truly impressive.
It's-
They will go like 3 episodes deep and they will go back through everyone and get back to the first episode.
That's great.
And I don't
Play
know
the
how we
actor
can do
music.
that. So
Yeah, I always thought that'd be easy, but it turns out it's very tough to remember.
yeah,
Journalistic
I
genius.
think it's safe to say that they pull that bit off significantly better than we have.
I think they
Oh,
pull
yeah,
off
when they do it, it's
just
funny.
about every bit better than.
I think it's been funny when we've done it, but just not like laugh out loud funny. It's more subversively kind of funny.
Yeah,
More like
But-
something later on you'll think to yourself, that was funny.
that was funny.
Yeah.
You might chuckle upon recollection in the shower.
Ooh, in the shower.
Ooh.
Okay, this isn't the 9 Inch Nails, Atticus Ross,
Atticus
Trent
Ross.
Reznor, Eagles,
Fuck the Eagles.
Eagles of Death Metal,
Joe Walsh
Joe Walsh
episode.
episode.
This is
This is
Queens of the Stone Age.
episode.
And let's get back on track, guys, by talking
Yeah.
about the self-titled album, Queens of
Were
the
we
Stone
ever?
Age.
We're
were
finally
we
talking
ever
about
on
Queens of the Stone
track?
Age.
Were we ever on track? You said let's get back on track. I don't know. That implies we were ever on track. in
Let's
the first
establish a track to stay on
place. Let's get on it. Yeah.
and stay on that.
All right.
Okay. Ooh,
And we're gonna do that with the nice
nice. Of
Coors
course,
Light.
Maybe I should get a brewski.
Is that a silver bullet?
Yeah, I got $1,000 for doing that.
All right. The first release under the Queens of the Stone Age name was the song 18 AD, released on Roadrunner Records compilation album Burn One Up, Music for Stoners. It featured guitarist Dave Ketching, as well as the bassist and drummer of the Dutch stoner rock band Beaver. So I just want to bring this up because
They're a top 3 Dutch stoner rock band
Yeah.
for me.
which was
Beaver
also a
is up
potential
there.
Connor is also a potential name for Kadzo, but you also don't want to mess with
Was
Dutch
Beaver?
stoner rock bands.
Yeah, Dutch. Two things you don't want to mess with are German power metal and Dutch stoner rock.
Yeah, almost Dutch stoner rock more. because Dutch people are weird.
The Dutch with their ovens, they'll come get you.
The Dutch people are a wild card of a people.
They are indeed. But I wanted to bring that up because Julian and I actually did like half of a Queens of the Stone Age episode early on in podcadzo, but it was really just a stoner rock episode in general.
Yep.
So I thought we'd be remiss to talk about Queens of the Stone Age without briefly touching upon just the stoner rock basis. And I think it's kind of a label that Josh Homme has come to despise a little bit. I think he thought it was pretty reductive and just...
Did he think about that when he named his band Queens of the Stone Age?
I
always thought that was a pun.
That's a fair
Is it
point,
not?
and I don't think he thought about it. I think
he kind
like
of feels like he walked into that one a little bit.
True. They did put themselves in the box a little bit with that. But anyways, we don't have to go too deep into it, but there was a stoner rock, stoner metal scene in California, and obviously, a little bit around the world, especially in the Netherlands, apparently. And Queens of the Stone Age early on were included in that, and Josh Homme particularly was the forerunner of that movement, I would say.
I feel like there's a pretty fine line between like stoner rock and like the word me and my brother were using a lot at the show was drone rock. Like they have such a sweet like droney sound to them, and I kind of agree with, like, I do not think you have to be stoned to enjoy Queens of the Stone Age music. Like,
no, you do not.
Yeah.
Not
maybe to enjoy like by the band Sleep, maybe you should be stoned for that.
Sleep was a band we talked about in the Stoner Rock episode.
Yeah, that's like the quintessential that Dope Smoker album.
Yeah,
exactly.
Song, but
yeah,
the Holy Mountain.
They were a little more upfront about it.
But anyways, let's get into the self-titled. Yeah. Finally, it was released in 1998 on Loose Groove Records. And it featured Homme on guitar and bass, and I think I don't think he did drums at all on the self-titled. Alfredo Hernandez on drums, and contributions by Mark Lanigan. So that's where the Lanigan connection comes in. But anyways,
nice.
And then after that is when Nick Oliveri would join the band, who was the bass player for a long time in Queens of the Stone Age.
Until like 2005.
And, yeah, when he had no, it was later than that. I think up until like, whatever, we'll talk about that later. But guys, what do we think of the self-titled album? Connor, do you like the self-titled Queens of the Stone Age album?
Yes, I do. It's not my favorite, not just to give spoilers, because I did do our rankings.
Oh,
but not my favorite, but it has some of my favorite songs. I really like If Only. I really like Mexicola. That is
that's a great
dirty, muddy bass line to start it off.
Bass line is ridiculous.
Then the song Regular John. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the UK grime scene, but there is do you ever listen to Skepta?
Yes, for sure.
Have you heard the song Man by Skepta?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think you have, probably.
There's a sample. He samples Regular John. He samples a little guitar thing at the beginning of Regular John and makes a rap beat out of it. It's sweet.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was a special place in my song because I love that Skepta album and I also really like that song. But those three, like, I don't think it's as good front to back as a lot of their other stuff, but they're still definitely getting the sound formed. But it is a super solid debut, no doubt.
Agreed. Julian?
Yeah, fucking Regular John and Avon, I would say, are both absolute fucking bangers.
That's another great one.
Walking on the Sidewalks, I love that song. And then You Would Know, I also think is great. Mexicola, you said. Mexicola is probably one of their more like recognizable early songs. I think You Can't Quit Me, Baby's amazing. And then I Was a Teenage Hand Model is a hilarious song too.
It's a super good album.
As far as the Queen's albums go, I would say it's hard to put them all in a ranking order, but I would say this would probably be.
Are we not doing a ranking?
5 for me. We don't have to. I'm just saying, like, it's album-wise, this one's like in the middle of the pack for me.
Yeah,
like
I had it.
Not my favorite.
I think I had it
favorite.
I think I had it at 5.
Let's rank. We can at least rank albums at the end. Let's do that.
We could try.
All right.
Try.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel the same.
We'll be
way.
quicker. We'll be quicker than last time.
We will
We're
be
locked
indeed.
in.
We're so locked in now. I feel the same way about the album. Like there's glimmers of the band they would become in the Queens of the Stone Age sound. It's a super solid debut, lots of great tracks. But yeah, it is a little bit like meandering in places. It's just it's a debut.
I think they definitely didn't have the budget that they had on future albums as well.
Indeed, yeah, the production is a lot.
This one,
different.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't think that this one was produced by Mark Ronson, as later albums would have been. So a little less glossy, a little dirtier, but it definitely gives it some charm. Like, does it make it better? I don't know, but it makes it more nostalgic and fun to go back to, and kind of gives it an edge.
Yeah, the dirty like grimy sound is like kind of
that baseline.
Josh Homme's
That baseline
signature.
on Mexicola just sums it up. Just that.
Yeah, super garagey influence.
Yeah. Can I take a quick pee break?
You can
Go
indeed.
for it.
Before we continue? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mute myself. How do I mute?
You did it.
Mark Lanigan left, I think, in 2004.
Oh, did he? But he came back later, right?
Or not? Sorry, not Mark Lanigan.
Nick
Oliveri. Lanigan left in like 2005 or 2004. They left it around the same time, and then neither of them came back.
Well, Nick Oliveri had a total breakdown. Like he had a shootout with cops.
Yeah.
Something like that in like 2010, didn't he?
Yeah, he had like a meth-fueled rampage.
Yeah.
But then
he was a great addition to Queens. Like he had a great look, a great style on stage.
Oh, yeah.
He was a good bass player.
same with Mark Lanigan. Like Mark Lanigan left in 2005. Yep, Mark Lanigan left in 2005. And a lot of people were like, well, this band is over. Because a lot of people just weren't interested in Josh Homme's vocals as like a soul vocalist. Like they just thought he was fucking boring. And he obviously couldn't like, he's not a screamer. He's not as much of like a metal guy, I guess, as Lanigan. So
He's like a crooner more than anything
more
else.
of a crooner than anything for sure.
I was just I think it was on Zane Lowe's show. Josh Homme was on a little bit ago and I listened to it. And they were like trading off Mark Lanigan's stories, just like what a funny, dry, mean person he was.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. I remember one story was like a fan, like him and Josh Homme were talking backstage to each other, and a fan was going to approach them for like a signature or something. And Mark Lanigan just stopped like mid-sentence and just said, "No." And, like sent him away. So I got a kick out of those stories.
I think the Lanigan story that I liked the most was, I can't remember exactly what he said, which is a bummer, but they were all just like in the green room. Lanigan was passed out drunk, and they were all just like talking, shooting the shit, and then out of nowhere Lanigan just wakes up and he says something along the lines of like, can you cook me up a sandwich or something like that? Can you whip me up a sandwich? And then he just goes right back to bed.
Yeah. Oh, he got in a fight with someone. Like, I think one of their crew members was like being an asshole, and they like got in a physical altercation. And the next day, the dude apologized to Mark Lanigan, and Mark was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I kicked the shit out of you." But anyways, Connor, welcome back.
Where'd
to
you
podcadzo.
download that sandwich? That's what he says. He wakes up out of nowhere, just says, "Where'd you download that sandwich?" And then just goes back to bed.
That's hilarious. All right. Rated R, guys. That's the next Queens of the Stone Age album, released in 2000. Year of our Lord 2000.
Nicotine, ecstasy,
One of the best album openers ever, in my opinion.
I think it might be my favorite album opener ever.
Very aptly named too. Feel good hit of the summer.
Yep.
I was really hoping that they busted this one out live.
Yeah.
I feel maybe they don't play the song very much live. I think they should.
They used
think it is
to.
a fucking barn burner of a track.
They used to play it like super fast live. It was like one of their encore songs.
Nice.
Having this song on the album and having be the opener of the album, I think had a lot of negative implications for the rest of the tracks. So like a lot of radio stations just banned this album in general because of that opener. And when it,
Yeah, they didn't really set themselves up to be like mainstream audience with
exactly.
that song. But there is, I want to make one note on that song.
Yeah.
Speaking of tones, there's a part, it's like midway through the song where it's right after the solo, middle of the song solo, and it's like trickling out, and it's just the bass line going, and the guitar just does this, brr, brr, and it is the coolest little sound, and it makes me love that song like twice as much. So, little cool tone sound to go back and listen
Everyone
for.
keep an ear out for that one.
It's like a brain soup song kind of in that section.
Yes, very much.
And then that goes right into Lost Art of Keeping a Secret,
which is a fucking
another
banger.
fucking great
amazing song, and important for Queens of the Stone Age. Just was the first one to get them like a little bit of mainstream success. It was a hit. Great music video for it. I love the music video, and yeah, it's such a great song, and like for it to be a hit and have the lyrics it does, and you know the overall production is just really impressive. I love that song. This album is cool too because it has a lot of features on it. Like they're not called out as features necessarily in the track names, but I believe they got Dave Grohl on this one. It's the first time Dave Grohl collaborated with them. I could be wrong on that one, but they like invited a bunch of other like musicians that they liked into the studio to kind of collaborate on some of the songs.
I always thought of them as kind of like a Gorillaz type of thing where, you know, Gorillaz is just Damon Albarn collaborating with a lot of people, and like,
yeah,
it's kind of, I know it's they're a little more like permanent members and stuff, but Queens of Stone Age very much feels like, you know, Josh Homme with his buddies, and they're all really they're all very talented musicians.
I was going to say, I had to Google this because I wasn't sure. There actually is no Dave Grohl on this record. He doesn't come on till Songs for the Deaf,
okay.
but Gene Troutman plays drums on some of the record, not all of it, but Gene Troutman is a fucking amazing drummer, so shout out Gene.
What's he been in?
Let's double check real quick. So let's see. Miracle Workers, Primary Domain. And then he did Desert Sessions Volume 6, which is also Josh Homme. He did Demolition Day, Nick Oliveri.
I think Desert Rock is I prefer the name Desert Rock to Stoner Rock, I think.
Yes, I'd agree.
Oh, they're definitely more Desert Rock than Stoner Rock for sure. I think they have Stoner Rock early on as an influence, but I think the Stoner goes away pretty quickly. Like,
I think they're kind of like Stoner Rock post Desert Rock fusion.
Yeah.
Mixed with post rock.
And being from the desert is a very important part of Josh Homme's identity.
It's like part of his identity for sure.
Band overall.
Yes. He's very much like a lizard person.
He is.
Yeah.
He's got the desert weirdness.
And he doesn't shy away from that.
No, not at all.
See Villain's album cover.
Yeah, indeed. It had
Literally,
just speaking of collaborations, this one had Rob Halford from Judas Priest.
Yes.
As a backing vocalist.
What song was that on?
On Feel Good Hit of the Summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Rob Halford, also gay. Happy Pride Month.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Happy Pride to everyone. All right. Anything else to say about Rated R?
Yeah.
Yeah. You go first, Julian.
Okay, I'll go super quick. Autopilot, fucking banger. Better Living Through Chemistry, fucking banger.
Banger. I love that song. I love that song.
Monsters in the Parasol is amazing. Quick and to the Pointless is Quick and to the Pointless. The name is what the song is, but it's hilarious. I love that song as well. I love In the Fade.
As far as song names go, there's no one better than Queens of the Stone Age.
They do have some good names.
Yeah.
Tension Head is a great song.
He's so funny.
And then Lightning Song is cool. I will say really quickly, back in the day at my job when we could play our own music, I would play I Think I Lost My Headache as like my closing song at like 11:50. I would throw it on because the last 4 minutes of that song drive people fucking crazy. Like nothing would get people to leave the store faster than putting this song on because the last 4 minutes of it is just like a weird horn repeating thing, and it's like it detunes over time and just gets more like unhinged and weird over time, and it sounds like a Nightmare song a little bit. And yeah, nothing would get people to leave the store faster than putting that on. So, all right, Connor.
I love that. Yeah, a lot of Autopilot is. I love that song so much. It's like such a crooner song, but there's still a super sweet guitar tone on it, of course.
Ripping guitar.
It just makes that song, like, it already would have been like a decent little crooner song, but that little guitar going throughout it is just whining in it is so good.
Yeah.
Better Living Through Chemistry, I fucking love. One of my favorites. That's also, speaking of song titles, that was the slogan for DuPont Chemical, who was poisoning a bunch of people in their drinking water. So that's another funny. That was their slogan, "Better Living Through Chemistry." So that's a funny song title too. I Think I Lost My Headache. That's a name for like a morning, like a tequila sunrise, like a drink you have to kill your hangover in the morning. I recently learned because I was at a restaurant on the beach here, and they had a drink called "I Think I Lost My Headache." And I was like, I really doubt that is a reference to the Queens of the Stone Age song.
Yeah.
So I asked the guy, and he's like, yeah, no, it's just like a name for like a drink you have in the morning because it makes you not hungover anymore.
I didn't know that.
But that is also one of my favorite Queens of the Stone Age songs, despite the really weird unhinged ending. The beginning, the first part of it is genuinely very good song and awesome ender to this really awesome album. I think this is safe to say probably the hardest rock album of their lineup.
I think so. It's the riffiest.
Maybe not. They're not quite as. They're still not. They haven't reached that total glossy production like sweet spot that I think they hit. But I think it's better for it. It has those edges, but it's a little more polished than the debut, and it has just really good and fun and unique guitar throughout. And there's not a lot of rock albums like this album. It's very unique and it's very good.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Very well said. Into the next one now. The big one. The essential Queens of the Stone Age album, I think most people would say. Songs for the Deaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, boys. It's the big one.
It's the big one.
It's the big one. It's the third album, Songs for the Deaf. So this is, like a lot of people, my entrance into Queens of the Stone Age back as a young rock fan. You know, loved No One Knows. Loved Go With the Flow. Good. Loved First It
No One Knows. I'm not a real guitar player, but I've heard that's a deceptively hard song to play on guitar.
Go With the Flow?
No One Knows.
No One Knows. Yeah, I imagine it is. I haven't tried to play it.
Got a weird rhythm. That song has a weird tempo to it.
Yeah. That's what they opened our set with when we saw them at Fiddler's Green. And I'd watched a bunch of YouTube videos and of earlier shows, and they were doing that one for every opener in their early tour.
So when they opened with Little Sister at my show, my whole life have gotten those two songs mixed up in my head.
Yeah.
And for the second, I thought they were opening with No One Knows, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And then it was Little Sister, and I was still like, "Oh my god!" But I was like rushing him. I wasn't in my seat yet. I was like running to my seat. But that's funny that they opened with the song that I got mixed up with No One Knows instead of No One Knows.
They actually closed our set, like the first set. They closed it with Little Sister. So kind of interesting.
Put it on its head.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we could go through all the songs on this one and how great they are.
Let's
they are all
list a
great.
couple interesting production facts,
yes.
if you don't mind.
Yes.
Just because it's always interesting to bring this up, and not a lot of people know this. I mean, a lot of people in the biz know this, but a lot of people that just are casual fans don't know this. Dave Grohl tracked drums for all the songs on this, and he tracked drums and cymbals separately, which is like really fucking hard thing to do, and
Wait, he
led to a
does
lot
what?
of clarity. He tracked the drums and the cymbals like separately from each other, so he did just cymbals for all the songs after doing just drums for all the songs.
They gave him fake electronic cymbals to hit, so he would know where the hits were when he was doing the shells, and then came in later and recorded all the cymbals.
And it takes like obviously twice as long.
The drum sound on this album is really crazy.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And it like totally made me, not that I know jack shit about drumming, but it definitely gave me more respect for Dave Grohl as a drummer. And I'm assuming, given your thoughts on Nirvana, Julian, it probably gave you more respect for Dave Grohl as a drummer.
This is probably, it's hard to say, either this or the
Foo Fighters,
the Them Crooked Vultures record.
That's a great record.
Between this one and that, definitely those are like my favorite Dave Grohl drum performances. I think what's interesting about this, like Songs for the Deaf, and Dave Grohl always downplays it, but like the drumming on this record is super duper technical, which is kind of like different from what he was known for. Like Nirvana, the drumming was purposely supposed to be like super like funk inspired and just like straightforward. So yeah, the technicality of this record is insane, and the fact that he did track drums and cymbals separately, just
I mean,
you have to be an incredible musician and drummer to be able to do that and pull it off and have it sound like it's still a uniform thing. And
like the drumming on No One Knows, it makes that song
completely,
and it is super technical.
Yeah,
and the drumming on Song for the Dead. Like,
I was
gonna
say, I mean,
really boring.
especially.
That's what they did. That's what they closed out with when I saw them.
We didn't get a Song for the Dead.
Yeah, I was really surprised, honestly, that they didn't play
it. Was the drummer, I forget the name of the drummer that they're touring with, but he's really good.
His name is fucking, God damn it.
John Theodore.
John
Theodore.
Yeah, he's been with them since the, like Clockwork days.
Yeah, he's a beast. But especially recently, really there's been a resurgence of people realizing how amazing the drums on "Song for the Dead" are. I think it's truly become like one of the most iconic.
People, like if you're a TikTok drummer, it's obligatory to post yourself doing the intro for "Songs for the Dead."
It's what "Stairway to Heaven" is to guitar. Now that
it
song
really is
for drums.
It really is. Which is great. It's got its flowers for sure.
Definitely. Not necessarily a interesting. Wait, what fact? I had another interesting fact for this album.
I was just gonna say, as far as production style, so since we just did our St. Vincent episode recently, when she was producing All Born Screaming, her like reference record was Songs for the Deaf, which I thought super interesting. She said in a Zane Lowe interview that's like her favorite sounding record of all time.
That's very cool.
So I started doing some digging because it's definitely like a good sounding record, but it's not conventional sounding by any means. There's a shitload of producers out there and artists in general who just all say that Songs for the Deaf is like their reference record because it's like the best sounding record of all time.
I'm hesitant to say,
like I was saying, like those from Rated R to this, like I love Rated R and I love to get like so much about it, but like the sound, this is where it was such a leap forward in their sound.
Yeah.
And you could just feel the difference.
Yeah, in my opinion, this record has the most like really heavy, like ripping guitar songs out of all the Queen's albums. Like, You Think I Ain't Worth a Dollar, fucking opener, absolute sender of a song, and then like First It Giveth, ripper of a song.
Yep.
Sky is Falling, not necessarily as much of a ripper, but still super good. And then like in the back half of the record, you've got Six Shooter, Go With the Flow, Gonna Leave You, Do It Again, another love song,
is on the radio.
Songs for the Deaf, which is pretty weird song, and then the Mosquito song. But
hey, can we talk about the song Hanging Tree? Because that song, I just had this realization that it sounds like a Muse song.
It kind of does.
And that's almost never a good thing.
True.
And you know who Muse sounds like? Radiohead. So maybe Radiohead
those comparisons, but I've never heard it. I don't really get. If anything, Muse to me is like if Coldplay had distortion.
I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's more apt description.
Muse is obviously better than Radiohead, but
Obviously.
yeah. I didn't see Radiohead having any songs in Twilight.
They almost had that James Bond song.
Oh, did they almost do a
But
thing?
they didn't.
They did. They made
they
they made a song
Adele did
for,
it instead.
I think it was Sam Smith.
Oh, that's
I think it was that one. Like, it was Spectre. They made a song, called it Spectre. It's fucking good.
The James.
I
And
have
then
listened to
that
that
one,
one.
people were
the
like-
producer was like, "This is way too like sad and down for a James Bond."
They were
film.
like, "Yeah, we want people to actually see this movie."
We don't want people to like
So-
hang themselves.
The
Or
Connor
not
Sanders
gonna
of the
put any
world won't
Radiohead
like this
songs.
movie if we use this song.
Maybe use like a Green
Exactly.
Earrings type song, then you'll get all the
Use
Connor
a
Sanders
use
of
a
the world.
Muse song.
Yeah, use Muse. Let's get Muse on this one. Talking about Dave Grohl real quick. I watched. I think it was in the Sound City documentary. If you guys have seen this, it's part about the recording studio Sound City, part about Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. But when he did this album, he was so stoked on Queens of the Stone Age and so excited about like drumming with them that it almost broke up the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, he almost left the Foo
Oh,
Fighters
yeah.
so that he could tour with Queens of the Stone Age. Yeah.
And yeah, he was like
that'd be
going
sick.
on every show and being like, like to the press, being like, "There's no better band right now than Queens of the Stone Age. Like they're better than anything Foo Fighters are doing."
It's also worth noting.
Well, he was 100% right about that.
Indeed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because the Foo Fighters are like the most mid band of all time.
That's
considering
something
how
we
fucking
can agree
successful they've
upon.
been.
At least me.
I don't
Julie
think
and I
any
have
like
mixed views, I
real
think, though.
music enthusiasts are like love the Foo Fighters.
I think
like, they're so boring.
The album Wasting Light by Foo Fighters that album is a fucking masterpiece. The rest of it kind of sucks ass, but Wasting Light is a phenomenal album.
I like
So-
I like the debut a lot, but that's because it sounds just more like 90s indie rock than anything else the Foo
Yeah.
Fighters did.
Yeah, so I think the other thing that's just kind of interesting is
Wait,
like
is this an episode of Foo Fighters?
this is an episode of Foo Fighters. We're not
That's
trying
good.
with our names anymore.
You Foofin'
I
Fighters
couldn't
on
think
the...
anything. You Foo. I don't know. All right.
You
Let's
fighting
move
Foo
on.
on
We
this
can
Foo.
edit that one. We
on
can
this-
cut this.
Yeah. to these foos.
You fighting Foo to these Foos.
to these foos.
Oh yeah, you fighting
Um,
Foo with these fighting foos? you Foo fighting these fighting
Foo
foos?
fighting on
There
these
you go.
Foos. Okay,
Yeah, guys,
You
we're
ever
gonna
seen
have
the
to
Christopher Walken announcing Foo Fighters on SNL?
Foo
Yes.
Fighters.
Yeah, the Foo Fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen, Foo Fighters.
Foo Fighters.
That's really good.
Foo Fighters. Dave Grohl, great drummer. Played on Songs for the Deaf. Great album.
Great album.
All right. Anyway,
Good walking.
great album though.
Great
I
album.
didn't know that so many people love the sound so much, but it makes sense because it does sound quite good. Top 100. Speaking of albums that sound amazing, you guys aren't into Dark Side of the Moon that much, huh?
Nah, not a big Pink Floyd guy.
I am. I mean, I maybe listen to Dark Side of the Moon more than any other album. Like in my
I would
teenage
say
years.
that album for me is like one of the albums that's like, okay, yeah, everybody says it's like one of the greatest albums of all time. They're right. It totally
No,
is.
it's
so good.
deserved. I was not against it
Yeah.
being on the list. It's just like I've ran out of energy to talk about how great Dark Side of the Moon is. I've talked about it so
I think
much
it's
earlier. But yeah, great album.
Anyway,
One more
no
production-
animals, but
Yeah. One more production thing on Songs for the Deaf, the like radio interludes is very cool. It adds a lot of character to the album. And
it's funny too.
Yeah, very funny.
It's like such a fun. It's like Grand Theft Auto radio. Like
exactly.
it's like the satire of pop radio is. It's pretty spot on. It's like you could tell thought went into like writing those bits out.
Oh, totally.
Definitely deeply satirical, like commentary on what was going on.
It's
at the time.
Songs for the Deaf. You can't even
hear it.
Yeah.
We play
it's
nothing but the same thing all the time.
all the time. Yeah, and something like when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, that's like easy. Like that makes sense. That and that would be easy to do, like make fake radio skits. But like, yeah, it'd be very hard to pull off as well as they do. And
it's also their only
subtlety
album that has transition tracks of
Yeah.
any kind. So they definitely felt like it fit for this concept. It's not like something that they just did for the fuck of it.
Well, they're not even
And just listening to the ding, the bell of the car as the opening to that album
Ding.
every time.
yeah,
The keys,
Just
jingling
knowing
and shit.
I'm about to get my face ripped off by that song
indeed.
just makes me feel warm inside.
All right, guys.
I love it.
Let's jump ahead 3 years in time to 2005. The next Queens of the Stone Age album, Lullabies to Paralyze.
Underrated.
Okay. Outside
Underrated.
of, like, this is definitely the Queens album that I've listened to the least. I've spent the least amount of time with it. Outside of Little Sister, and I like the song Burn the Witch a lot too, actually. I'm not super into these songs, but like I do put this album on from time to time, and I don't hate it. I'm not against it. It's just the one that's I've connected to the least.
It's definitely too long of an album.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't need to be an hour long. But 4 songs I like a lot on it. Everyone Knows That You're Insane, Burn the Witch, In My Head, and Little Sister are all bangers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I always felt like
I think it gets forgotten, but it has still several solid songs on it. So
I always felt like their discography kind of worked slightly backwards. Like Lullaby should have been after, or it should have been like in between the other two, rather than Songs for the Deaf being the one that's in
Lullabies would have
between.
made more sense, I feel like, as the second album. Like, it would have made way more sense to go from the self-titled to Lullabies to Rated R.
Or even from Rated R to Lullabies. It
Yeah.
did seem like a little bit of a... But I also think just because of the personnel change-ups and the fact that Josh Homme was trying to like solo a lot of this record, it just made it more of like a tunnel vision thing for him, and there was less collaboration slightly. But yeah, the song Medication rips. Everybody Knows That You're Insane rips. Tangled Up in Plaid, honestly, I really like.
yeah, that is a good one.
Burn the Witch is the first Queens of the Stone Age song that I ever heard I knew was Queens of the Stone Age.
Really?
Yep. And then Little Sister is great. I Never Came, I honestly think is like a really pretty song. And then Skin on Skin is fucking great. And Long Slow Goodbye I always thought was really good too. One of their longer songs. But yeah.
All right. Right on. Well, move ahead in time, unless there's anything else to say about Lullabies, to 2007, 2 years later, to one that I know is a big one for Julian. Julian, show your tattoos.
Can
Julian,
you see that? I don't know if you can.
No.
Not you.
Show Connor. Connor wants to see it.
I don't think I could. Here, let me turn my... You see that?
It's fuzzy. Wait, let it focus.
Oh yeah,
It's good
that's
enough.
fun.
Julian's got the light bulbs
That
on
was
there.
my second or third tattoo. I can't remember.
Yeah. So, Era Vulgaris, 2007. Julian, obviously this album's important to you. It's permanently imprinted on your body. Why don't you kick it off by talking about why you like this album so much?
So, this was the record that made me personally like fall in love with Queens of the Stone Age. Obviously, it won't come as a surprise to like either of you guys, but I always like shit that was like a little bit different and like a little bit like edgier, or like just a little bit more like out of the box of what was going on at the time. And so this record to me was like, at the time that I heard it, it was like the grossest record I have ever heard. Like the weirdest production style, the most on the nose lyrics, and just overall the most like sass, and like just overall like I don't give a fuck of like any record that I'd heard up to this point in my life. And so yeah, for that reason, like Era Vulgaris, I still always say it's my favorite Queens record. There's not a single song on this record that I don't like absolutely fucking love. I think it's their peak creativity, their peak like just not giving a fuck about the status quo or like keeping the peace with like songwriters or production. Like they really just said fuck it, and they did like exactly what they wanted to do. And beyond that, like the packaging of it, the artwork, the way that it's produced, the fact that it was mixed and mastered in mono, like all of it just makes me fucking completely love this record. It's such a weird one-off concept that they like never did afterwards. They never really did it before. It just sticks out in their discography as like their peak of like, we just don't give a fuck. We're just going to do whatever we want to do. And that's to me what Queens of the Stone Age has always kind of been about. So that's why this one's my favorite.
Hell yeah. I didn't get as into this album as I am now until like hearing how much you liked it and talking about it, and then I went back and revisited it, and yeah, without spoiling the ranking we'll do later, it's up there on my list of albums. It's the one I go back to the most. Like if I'm like in the mood to listen to Queens, I'll throw on Era Vulgaris.
I will say too, yeah, for a really long time, like years and years, this was like my palate cleanser record. Like if I needed to take a break from other stuff, or if I just wasn't sure what I wanted to listen to, throw on Era Vulgaris, because it's just like, it feels like it's like a home record for me. Like it reminds me of so many good times in my life and so many like people that I love and experiences that I really enjoyed and shit. It's just like, it's to me personally like a super good encapsulation of like who I am and like what I like about music. So
Connor, what are your thoughts?
Shout out you guys, mainly Julian, for mentioning this record when we were talking Steely Dan, I think, because I had not gotten super into this record, and then you mentioned it, and I'm like, oh, but, and then I went, deep dive on them before, but I spent extra time on that, and I was very happy I did, because it's a great record, and it worked out with the set list they played. I was happy that we got some deep cuts off that album, and I was happy to have recognized them and been stoked. There was a dude in front of me at the concert he had seen him in LA the day before, and he was like possibly one of the world's biggest Queens of the Stone Age fans. But me and him were like nerding out super hard. Like every Era Vulgaris song they played, we're like, oh man, I'm playing so much Era Vulgaris tonight.
That's great.
So
it's fun to have someone like that at the show.
Yeah, but like definitely like such an outlier stylistically, but in such a good way. It's so fun. It's so definitely like not taking themselves seriously at all. Which maybe on Lullabies to Paralyze, post Songs for the Deaf, maybe he was.
Yeah.
You know, like, and this album they were just like, fuck it.
Well, and
she's very himself, has some hilarious lyrics. I'm a Designer is a hilarious song.
Yeah. We kind of mentioned this while you were in the bathroom, but like Lanigan obviously leaving in 2005 means that Josh Homme is responsible for doing solo frontman shit, and so I think a lot of Lullabies is him just figuring out what kind of frontman he wants to be, and then Era Vulgaris is him just letting loose and just being like, I'm like, people like my weird shit, I'm just gonna lean extra hard into my weird shit and be off the cuff and like unconventional with my phrasing and shit like that, and it paid off super well because I think that's what laid the groundwork for all of his like future vocal performance in a lot of ways too.
So, guys, after Era Vulgaris, we jump into kind of the trilogy of Queens of the Stone Age albums. They're very much intended to be thought of as, a triplet of albums, a treble, if you will. There's a 6-year gap between Era Vulgaris and the first of the trilogy of those albums. But it was in those 6 years where I feel like Josh Homme really became the alt-rock figure that he is. Like, gave some time for the Queen's work to steep. He did the Them Crooked Vultures stuff in that interlude. I think that was after 2007. That was like 08,
it was
09.
like 09.
Yeah, 09. He produced a few albums. Like, he really came on the scene as a producer then. Notably, he did Arctic Monkeys. Was it Suck It and See he did?
I think Suck It
and See.
Suck It and See.
Yeah.
Great. I feel like he probably came up with the name for that one too.
Probably, yeah. Guys, you should call this one
extremely likely that he came up with that.
It is. I've never thought about that, but it's very.
I think he rubbed off on Alex Turner a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah.
But rubbed off.
So good
choice of words.
Yeah, maybe he did. Whoa. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
It's Pride Month.
There's anything wrong with that.
All right, but anyways,
He also had some health issues,
yes,
which really kept him out of the studio and kept him away from Queens. And then when he got back with Queens, the health issues and some near-death experience is what like informed and like became the subject matter for the next record.
which reoccurred with the latest album. Not to jump ahead,
It
but
goes all the way
Yeah,
through.
it goes. Yeah, this is a very turbulent time. It seems like in Josh Homme's life, really from 2013 onwards.
Yeah.
But anyways, the album we keep referencing is Like Clockwork, which we'll
Their
talk
most
about our
serious
own
album up to
most
this
serious
point.
album. I've heard Josh Homme refer to it as his masterpiece and his favorite Queen's album. It's a beautiful and devastating album, I would say. Without spoiling my list too much, this one would also be near the top for my favorite Queen's albums. I've been listening to a lot lately. Especially just like the opening 4 songs, let's say, opening 5 songs. I think it's my favorite sequence of any 5 Queens of the Stone Age songs, from Keep Your Eyes Peeled through My God is the Sun. Is just hits so good for me, and it's so well sequenced, and it's like such an amazing opening for an album. Anyways, what do you guys think of this album, Like Clockwork?
I kind of think of this second trilogy, or this trilogy of albums. It's kind of like the second dynasty of the New England Patriots, where they won their first 3 Super Bowls early 2000s. Then they didn't win anything for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
People thought the Patriots were done, and then new crew comes around. They get Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, and they win 3 more Super Bowls. So kind of like that. Like, you thought that this band was maybe had peaked, and then starting with this record, they just started this whole new kind of era that is at least equally good to a lot of their old stuff. And this album is just so high quality. Keep Your Eyes Peeled is such a sick, just dark, like brooding opener.
Yeah.
Obviously, I Sat by the Ocean's awesome. Was super cool to hear them play If I Had a Tail. My God is the Sun is so good. Smooth Sailing, I Appear Missing. It's definitely like a more mature album, but that definitely, like we said, Era Vulgaris doesn't take itself too seriously. This album definitely takes itself a lot more seriously, but it's not in a bad way at all.
No,
it's to a very rewarding
palatable way.
effect, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great analogy you made with the New England Patriots. And like the other aspect of that is like once they entered this phase, it like made so much sense. It's like, oh yeah, of course Queens of the Stone Age was always going to be this band that can make these 3 albums. Like, it just feels right. It feels like that was a form.
It doesn't
they were
feel
just waiting
unexpected or unnatural or anything.
Exactly.
It feels right.
And they also, it's starting in Like Clockwork and pretty much going through the whole trilogy, they maintain a band lineup for pretty much the majority of all the recordings. So it's like the first time Queens of the Stone Age isn't like an interchanging group of people. The collaborators, the contributors are like the same on all 3 of the records. So I think that's why thematically they all sound really similar, but obviously different at the same time. Like, they just are very much in the same universe. Like, I think the consistency and the throughput comes from the fact that the lineup is like the same for all 3 of the records. And obviously, like, the content, the thematic ideas don't change like too much between the 3 records. I will say, you mentioned the front half of the record being fantastic. I agree. For me, it's the back half of this record that really gets me. Like, Fairweather Friends, Smooth Sailing, I Appear Missing, and Like Clockwork. Like, I think Like Clockwork might be one of the most powerful outro songs of any record ever. It's just so beautiful. And yeah, the way the record kind of like climaxes and then dips down in energy, but also maintains like its seriousness like all the way through. It's just like breathtaking. Like, the way this record ends is fucking amazing to me. So
hell yeah. Okay. And then second album in the trilogy, we jump ahead in time by 4 years, and Villains comes out. This was a big release for me because in 2013 I was definitely a Queens of the Stone Age fan, but I became easily 10 times more into Queens of the Stone Age by 2017. And so this was like the first release by them that I like really anticipated and, was listening to all the singles a bunch, really following along with. And Julian, I think when we talked about Queens of the Stone Age earlier, you said that this one was kind of lower down on your list or that, not your favorite. And I think ultimately I agree. Like I was stoked on it when it came out. I still think it's a great album. I actually listened to it on the drive over today just to refresh my memory. And the best thing I can say about this album is the production is just really, really rad. It sounds like if you're not paying, it's one of those albums where if you're not paying attention to the production, it sounds like a good rock album. But when you actually start listening to it, like some of the decisions they made on the mixing, it's super wild and innovative.
This is produced by Mark Ronson,
By Mark
right?
Ronson, yes. And
it was
like
just
Clockwork,
a fucking legend of like pop production. So
yeah.
He's a very good producer, and you can the sound is so clean on Villains.
Yeah, it's very clean.
Josh Homme said he wanted to make a dance record for the apocalypse.
Yes, that's right.
Kind of the one great. I think he nailed it on. My favorite song on this album is "Feet Don't Fail Me."
Yeah, great opening.
That intro, that slow burn intro to that riff is so good.
The thing with this record, sorry to
go
interrupt.
ahead.
The thing with this record for me is like the songs that are like brilliant are like really, really fucking brilliant. Like there's a few where it's like definitely creative songwriting peaks for Queens of the Stone Age, but then everything else that's not that is kind of just like straightforward and catchy dancey rock tunes for the radio. And so like the trade-off there isn't necessarily my favorite. I still think this record's fucking amazing. I still listen to it a lot. But when you're stacking it up against like some of the best like conceptual like start to finish records like that bands have put out, this one just isn't necessarily up there for me. It's more of like it's still a super heavy concept and they don't really break the concept at all. It's just like the extremes of that concept are kind of all over the place for me. So
I think it's so hard to like it sounds so good in your head to like make something like poppy but like different kind of poppy. But it's so hard to strike that balance. And yeah, I think there's a couple songs that did just kind of come off a little boring.
Yeah.
Like they didn't add enough to it to where it's like, ooh, you kind of just made a pop song there. But like props for trying. And the ones that there's enough hits on it, enough ones that really came through that it's super worth listening and stays in the rotation, I would say.
The one that grabbed me the most today when I was listening to it, which I hadn't ever appreciated fully, was Unreborn Again.
I was going to say,
I love that song.
That song is probably my favorite one on the record, honestly.
Yeah.
The whole like section in the middle where it breaks and it's just like vocals and like strings.
Yeah, that string section is so cool.
Beautiful.
And then the outro, it just becomes like a real soupy thing.
Yeah.
And then, back in.
That one, and then Villains of Circumstance is a really, really good song too.
Yeah, good closer. All right, guys.
And Head Like a Haunted House rips.
Yeah,
that song is so fun.
Rips so hard.
Great first three songs. Great start with the first three on it.
Domesticated Animals is a really, really good song.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a slow burn, but it's really, really good.
Those three are all good. Evil Has Landed obviously was pretty good. That was on a year of MLB The Show that I was playing a lot. It was like, and it would be the intro song. Like every time you started the game up, it would play that song.
Oh, that's cool.
So I sort of grew to hate that song, but I think it's solid still. Going back.
Wait, that was in an NBA video game, Connor?
No, MLB. It was an MLB The Show.
MLB The Show. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And that brings us up all the way to the present day, guys. In Times New Roman. It's crazy it was 6 years between Villains and In Times New Roman. So it was the same gap of time between Era Vulgaris and like Clockwork, between Villains and In Times New Roman. It really didn't feel that long, to me at least.
I heard he was having a really hard time naming this album. It was between this and the other option was In Papyrus.
Papyrus.
He was also like going through like a divorce.
The Avatar
and
logo is
shit.
Papyrus and bold. The Avatar logo is Papyrus and bold.
I have no idea what's happening.
It's a
Papyrus
SNL
is a
sketch.
font. Is another font.
It's a
Times
font.
New Roman's a font.
Yeah,
It was a
joke.
joke.
It was a joke. It was a good joke.
Clearly it went straight over your head, pal. A little too smart for you.
No, that was really funny.
Yeah, it was really funny.
Do you want to do another take of that, and Julian can actually
I'll just
laugh?
leave the room for this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't threaten me with a good time.
A good time in New Roman.
A good times in times. All right. Let's get to it.
Real
Let's
quick,
get out
I
of
meant to mention
business.
this with Era Vulgaris. Do you guys know what Era Vulgaris actually means?
What means?
Era Vulgaris.
Is it a vagina thing?
It's not, unfortunately.
Bummer.
It's so funny you jumped on it.
Vulgar. Something vulgar.
That's what you would
Vulgar
think.
era.
But it actually just means the common era in Latin. But he liked it because it sounded like vulgar. But it's funny that there's two albums named after
It is definitely their most vulgar album.
It is very vulgar.
There's a great line on I'm Designer where he's like talking to a girl trying to woo him, or he's trying to woo her, or she's trying to woo him. He says, counter proposal, I go home and jerk off.
And jerk off.
That's a great line.
All right, so yeah.
I'm one of a kind.
I'm designer.
So in between Villains and In Times New Roman, tumultuous time in Josh's life, he went through a divorce with what's her name, Brody Dallas.
Brody Dale.
Brody Dale.
Dales.
Dallas.
Kicked a lady in the face.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was before Villains.
Oh, okay.
He had a cancer scare.
Mm-hmm.
He lost some
he got
people
off the meth again. He got clean.
Yeah, he stopped smoking meth again. By the way, I think Josh Homme is my favorite musician who has a meth problem.
He's my favorite musician who openly admits to doing meth.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, I've done a shitload of meth.
I agree. I'm going to give Third Eye Blind a close second there.
Third Eye Blind does meth?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Have you not listened to the lyrics of Semi-Charmed Life?
I listened to. I haven't really paid attention to the lyrics. I would never think that song had a meth reference in it.
The whole album's just an album about being addicted to meth. But it's like that's why I love that album so much, dude. It's like it's so poppy and upbeat, but like there's one song called Narcolepsy, and he's just like it's just about being addicted. There's another song called Losing a Whole Year. But yeah, he has a line in Semi-Charmed Life, like their super popular poppy song, where he's like, I was taking hits up into my nose, and then there's a part of the song where he literally says, "Doing crystal meth will lift you up until you break." That's in the song very clearly.
Wow.
Yeah, and the whole album is like this really like well written, like terrible dark album about addiction, but they chose to make the sound like so poppy, like pop rock. I could go on. I could do a whole episode on Third Eye Blind's self-titled album.
Connor, when you were first going to come on the pod, you actually requested that we talk about that album, and
I think I was getting really into it at that point.
I listened to it then, and yeah, I never took Third Eye Blind seriously. Listening to it, I was like, wow, this is a great album, and now hearing the background for it, it does make it an even more interesting
go back
album.
And listen again and like listen to the lyrics, because you'll be like, it's not even like, oh, like this song's secretly about doing meth. It's like, no, these lyrics are very overtly about doing meth and like the traumas and trials of addiction and how it like takes your life away from you. And it's really a dark, depressing album, but they've just like, but we're gonna make it just sound like so much late 90s fun. You can listen to it, you mix it in with the Spice Girls, and nobody will know.
Wow.
But you like take a second to just barely listen to the lyrics. You're like, oh yeah, it's pretty obvious what they're talking about here.
That's super wild.
So everybody listening, go give Third Eye Blind self-titled its flowers because it's a fucking great album. One of the best albums of the 90s. Better than Nevermind.
Wow.
Wow.
Maybe not.
That's
but
something.
I like it.
That's something Julian could get behind.
I can
I'm
get
sure.
behind that.
I would say I like it better than Nevermind. Probably not as important.
Yeah. But as
also
important to you, personally.
not on the Apple Music Top 100.
Big snub there, apparently.
Apparently.
They also had one of the most famously or infamously bad sophomore slump follow-up albums ever.
Yeah,
Their second album is known to be just really, really,
really bad. Tough.
And then they kind of weren't a band anymore after that, I don't think. But
A sophomore slump album or episode would be fun. I've actually thought about doing that. The worst sophomore. Connor, that's the next episode we're doing with you. Sophomore slump albums.
Sophomore, okay.
We'll have to do some research.
Green Day.
Yeah.
What was Green Day's second album?
Nah, isn't Nimrod their second album?
Yeah,
Nimrod's
it is
incredible.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't do it in terms of success. You got to do it in terms of like quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like Nimrod is definitely not as big of an album as Dookie, but
it's way
it is
better
good.
album.
It is awesome. Well, that's I think a crazy thing to
Nimrod
say.
has always been my favorite Green Day album. I'll just say
I like
now.
the song The Jerk. Is that what it's called?
The Jerk, yeah.
Yeah. The world's a tries to fuck you.
Life's
That's
a
a good
bitch and I can't fuck it up.
Yeah. I was a young but I had big plans. Now I'm just another shitty old man.
Yeah, when I saw Green Day last, which was
Is
like
this an
over a
episode
decade ago,
of
but they played that
Sophomore
song.
Slumps Green Day edition?
I think it is.
So we can only do
Are we ready
one
to do the intro
episode of
music?
this.
All right. What other
you'd
sophomore
be
slumps?
surprised.
Nirvana. Bleach was way better and way more
The
successful.
Nevermind, yeah.
And they never really did anything after
Famous case of a sophomore slump. You're
Ooh,
right.
We could do reverse
that.
sophomore
Radiohead.
slumps.
Radiohead. They never got back to the level of Pablo Honey.
Honey was their creative peak. I was going to say that. Yeah, the Benz was a huge letdown.
Oasis.
Yeah. Oh, it's not like Oasis.
Your Oasis fandom is like a bit, right?
No,
You would
it's
actually think
It
they're
has
good.
to be a bit.
It's fully
There's
serious.
nobody out there like thinks they're like the
I've
Beatles.
never met like another person that's like, yeah, Oasis is my favorite band.
Yeah,
Like, it's just you.
just like
I easily.
blatant. They're like the Greta Van Fleet is to Led Zeppelin as Oasis
no,
is to the
no,
Beatles.
no. It's so wrong. That's such a wrong take.
I
Connor.
think that's a really accurate
Dude,
comparison.
you sound
that I
like
just made.
such
And fair.
an idiot right now. It's insane. Saying that.
Almost like if I didn't know who Robin was.
Yeah, I'm such a dumbass. But I legitimately listen to Oasis more than any other band in the world. Oasis is my favorite band of all time. It's not a bit.
They should study your brain when you die.
How big is that tumor that's pushing on your prefrontal cortex?
I'm gonna have to shoot myself
you
in
think.
the chest. Then noted. after this episode.
No. Whoa.
Just
saying
joking,
when
guys.
I said when.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
I won't. It was a dark joke.
Episodes taking a dark turn.
It's kind of like Queens of the Stone Age did with their album In Times New Roman.
Great segue.
Thank you.
Yep, that was a good
Things
segue.
are looking up for me now after that segue. I
You
feel
don't have
better.
to kill yourself
Yeah.
after all.
I don't have to shoot myself in
Yeah.
the chest.
Not yet. For now.
We'll see.
For now, we should have a meter on the side of the episode where Colin gets to live.
Colin's will to live.
Colin shoots himself in the chest and donates his brain to research.
It's going to sink to an all-time low after I learned that I was pronouncing Trent Reznor wrong.
Oh, yeah. Also, there was no all-time low on the top 100 albums.
Yeah, true. Big snub again.
Benson was
Yep.
surprised there was no American football on the top 100.
No Jawbreaker. I'm going to put 24-hour revenge therapy in my top 100.
True. Yeah, big lack of hardcore. No, in all seriousness, no Black Flag.
Yeah, no
Nope.
no
Yeah.
punk
Speaking
really.
of we've already talked about
Yeah,
no
Punk did not get love. There was no DK, no Minor Threat,
No Sex
no
Pistols.
nothing. No Sex Pistols.
No Public Image
Just
Limited.
No
Public Image Limited. No Gang of Four. No Wire.
No Wire.
No Sleaford
Which-
Mods, bro.
No Misfits. No Danzig.
Danzig should have been on there.
Yeah.
No Agent Orange. No Rancid. No GBH.
No ska at all.
Yeah, no Leftover Crack. No Operation Ivy.
No
No
Ivy.
No Doubt.
No doubt. No bouncing
No
souls.
Doubt.
No
No
doubt.
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 Lots of doubt.
Doubt, indeed. All right,
No
guys.
Bouncing Souls, indeed. They didn't have, even though obviously if you did best songs of all time, Manthem would be the best song of all time. But I really want to do a karaoke with that, but you can't do that song alone. You need a buddy to do that with.
Yeah. Do you think karaoke machines even have that as an option?
I bet they have Manthem.
Yeah, maybe.
I did karaoke last Friday. I did the Bad Touch.
Oh, cool.
It got the people going.
Yeah, dude. I bet.
That was a fun one. But so they had the Bad Touch. I bet they had Manthem.
Yeah. Good call.
All right. In Times New Roman.
In Times New Roman. We're back on track.
Yeah, we've always been on track.
We know exactly what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So guys,
Everything here is really it's very structured and
very structured.
dialed in.
That's what I was.
It's all
gonna
scripted.
say.
It's actually a completely scripted podcast.
I spent 11 weeks writing out every word that we recited
and
for this.
We
Dave-
spent
David
$20,000
Fincher.
on teleprompters.
Yeah.
We had to mail one all the way
Mail
to
one
Connor.
to Connor.
David Fincher is directing, and you know that David Fincher does not let his actors go off script.
Exactly.
Even this part we're talking about right now is scripted.
It's super meta, actually. That's why
It's
he's one of
very
the best.
meta. I actually argued in the table read that this was too meta.
Yeah.
Connor
Fact-
did say too meta, and then I saw David Fincher write down what I'm
All of
saying
this,
right now, and
Yeah.
said, "Say this right now."
And then,
What I'm saying.
And then
Fincher,
you said, say what? And then I said,
and then
this.
Yeah.
What we're
and
saying
then
right now.
Fincher came to my house that night, and it was in my room, and he said, don't say anything about my fucking script ever again.
And
And
guys,
then he wrote
on the
that in. And then he wrote that in.
on the teleprompter, it said, "Never talk. ... Never say any." Just as Connor just
Yeah.
said it now.
No, he's one of the best.
Yeah,
That's why he's the best.
he's the best. Actually, David
Yeah.
Fincher hasn't come out with that many good movies recently.
Favorite Fincher movie?
I'm
I'm going Social Network. Social Network might just be my
Social
favorite
Network
movie
is
ever.
great.
Give me some other ones.
Zodiac.
Fight Club.
Fight Club.
Seven.
Oh, Fight
Seven.
Club, dude.
I was gonna say Fight Club,
Zodiac.
but it might be.
Zodiac is really good too.
I watch Zodiac all the time.
The Game. Have you ever seen The Game?
Yeah, I've seen the game.
The Game is great.
Never seen that.
His latest one was Killer. Did you see that one? It was a Netflix movie with.
I haven't watched any of the Netflix ones.
I was
haven't
very
heard that they've been
disappointed
good.
with Killer. I was so stoked for that one because it had Fassbender. I love Fassbender.
Yeah,
and it
I
was
think Michael Fassbender as a actor in general has disappointed me. I thought he was going to be in so many good movies, and him in Inglourious Bastards being a German dude playing a British dude, trying to be a German dude but
German
not
dude.
doing it perfectly. I was like, this guy's the best actor of all time, and he just wasn't in very many good movies. He's in a lot of movies that looked like they were going to be really good and then weren't.
I completely agree. And
He's the king of that, the wow, sweet Fassbender movie. Look at this trailer; it looks sick, and then it's like, 6.4 on IMDb.
Connor, did you see the one with where he's like the cartel movie that he's in? I think it's called the Counselor. That's what it's called. The Counselor. Did you see that one?
Oh,
It has
no,
Brad
but I heard
Pitt
it
and-
sucked.
dude, it is maybe the worst movie of all time. It has
Isn't
Cameron Diaz.
it a Ridley Scott? It's a Ridley Scott movie,
It's a
right?
Ridley Scott movie.
went on a tear of making some bad movies, man, and I just wasn't. And they all had sweet trailers
Yes.
that looked. He was Fassbender and Scott, two guys who have a lot of cool trailers and bad movies.
Yeah, they do have a lot in common. But anyways,
Okay, sorry guys, I have to pee again.
you're all good. You're all
I've been
good.
hammering Coors Lights. This will be the last pee of the episode.
All right, cool. Yeah, but Julian, that movie Killer, whatever it is, had an entirely a soundtrack made up of the Smiths. That was like kind of the bit of the movie is that he was like an assassin. Whenever he was getting ready to kill someone, he just listened to the Smiths. And
Listening to this makes me want to kill too.
we are overdue for this episode because you and I are gonna battle. Maybe even harder.
We might not be friends anymore afterwards.
We probably because Oasis, I can.
You can take it.
I can take it. I can
Yeah.
have this jokey attitude. With the Smiths, I will.
You'll throw down.
I'll throw down hard.
Mhm.
But I saw the I was like, wow, this has all the makings of my favorite movie: Fincher, Fassbender, The Smiths, and I hated every second of it. And anytime there was a Smiths song in it, it just felt so pandering and like felt like, oh yeah, this will be a cool thing.
This will be
we
cool.
do.
People like
Yeah.
the Smiths right now.
Well, it will be such a neat contrast to have like someone killing someone in cold blood
La,
with
la,
like
la, la, la,
the
la.
jangly fun music of the Smiths, and it didn't work at all for me. It was not cool. And I think Trent Reznor actually had a little bit to do with that soundtrack too, and it was like him and Fincher's idea together to do the Smiths. And
I
it,
think
it
Morrissey
did not land.
might be hiding dead people in his house. Like, has anyone checked his freezer lately?
I don't know about that, but
I think he might wear the skin of his enemies as pajamas.
Morrissey just came out with an Instagram post that he's back, baby. He's doing a little residency in
Can't wait for
Vegas,
that to get canceled.
in Vegas.
Can't wait for that to get fucking canceled.
Why would he get canceled?
No. When's the last time Morrissey didn't cancel a fucking run of shows?
Why? I mean, yeah, I was going to joke. It's not like he has a huge track record of canceling.
Yeah, no, never, except for the last, 8 times, 9 times he's announced anything. He's
Yeah.
been like, oh, actually.
The last
Hey.
5 years.
Hey,
Hey.
Morrissey, schmorrissey. That's what I
Yeah,
say.
Morrissey can suck my peen.
Uh-huh.
That was what you wanted to come back with, Connor. That was your big reintroduction to
Yep.
podcads. It was
Yep.
Morrissey, Schmorrissey.
Morrissey, schmorrissey. Yes, sir.
All right. We
The
better.
Smiths, the Schmiths.
Morrissey, more peen mouth.
We're really
Morrissey,
not.
more like I'm Islamophobic and a bad guy.
Yeah.
That one
Like
has that one has the most legitimacy behind it of anything you guys have thrown out there. But whatever.
All right, in Times New Roman. Pretty good album.
Pretty good.
Good album.
I like the song Sicily. That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's your favorite, really?
Interesting.
I like Drone. Speaking of Droney.
It is Droney.
I would put that in a movie. You could soundtrack a movie with Queens of the Stone Age pretty sweet.
That would be a very cool movie. Yeah.
You definitely would have to put Keep Your Eyes Peeled as like the opener to a real
Yes.
gritty Fincher movie. That would have been better than using the fucking Smiths.
It's so cool that David Fincher's writing all of this out for us to say.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It shows a lot of self-awareness of Fincher.
He's so self-aware.
But then again, it shows some hubris that he also wrote in that we were talking about his self-awareness.
Yeah.
He's a complicated man.
He's an enigma.
a true
That's
enigma.
what they say.
Yeah.
But you know what? They do say he's got a huge wrench and he's a great lover.
The pipe on that guy.
Yeah. But I'm surprised he wrote for you to say that about The Killer. About how you hated every second of it.
I just fell completely short.
He knew that it was not his best work.
Yeah. He's like this. He's like, Netflix gave me $400 million.
And I
And he's
came out
like-
with this
And
piece
he's
of
like,
garbage.
all I had to do was make a movie.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
already gave me the money.
It really was
You know
that
how
comment.
hard
It was
is-
just him
You know
making
how hard
a
it
movie.
is to get motivated to make a good movie when you already have $400 million.
Yeah.
They already gave it to you and just said, this is how many movies you had to make.
And when you already
Would you-
have Fight Club under your belt,
Yeah, would you spend as much time making your movies? I don't think so.
I think we should
you'd
all
be like, this
give
is
David
good
Fincher a little
enough.
bit of slack. You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
and I think that he's a great director, and he's made a lot of really good films.
Yeah.
And all those things people say about him being like a huge asshole and really hard to work with, I don't agree with him.
I don't agree with him at all. I've actually heard
We've always had a lovely time working with him.
Yeah, yes,
yeah.
yep.
Completely.
have.
Completely. I mean,
Okay.
this right now has been a great experience.
It's been enjoyable,
Yeah.
yeah. Plus, I'm getting
Yeah.
300 million. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in that ballpark.
I got
I'm getting 301 million.
I'm getting some of Connor's Coors Light money, right, Connor? For you cracking some? You said I could
Yeah,
have a
this
piece
is
of
I'm
that.
cracking a Coors Light. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can wet your beak on this Coors Light action. Okay,
My
do you guys
favorite,
have?
my favorite In Times New Roman song, Carnivore.
That's a good one.
There
too.
it is. That's my decision.
What about you? What about you, Junebug?
Dude, Paper Machete is so good. It reminds me of old school Queens in a lot of ways. It's like the culmination song, so I like Paper Machete a lot. But I also fucking love Straight Jacket Fitting. I think Straight Jacket Fitting might be the one for me. It just goes so many places and kind of reminds me of like the cinematicness of like the end of like Clockwork. So probably between those two would be my favorite.
You have a real thing for Queen's album closers. You're always
Their
you always call
closers
them
are
out.
always like super long, super cinematic, very like serious. Not always, but lately that's how they've been. I think their closers are always like the most proof of concept-y for each record. But also What the People Say fucking rips too.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's 3.
I don't care. Okay. All right, guys. Let's get into our rankings.
Let's get
I need to
into
make
it.
I'm
my
not
rankings.
going to be able to do songs, so let's just do albums. Top
Okay.
top 5 albums.
And then maybe we could just throw out some songs we like.
Yeah. Let's do it.
As we say the album, you say a couple songs.
Songs
you
like
off the
okay.
album.
Okay,
How about
Connor,
that?
Writing mine down.
please
All right.
start with your 5th favorite Queens album.
My 5th. Oh, we're just doing top 5.
Yeah. Cuz
Okay.
they don't have enough albums. Or do you want to rank all of them in order?
Do you want to just do all of them?
Yeah, let's just do all of them.
we could
Sure.
we could do top 5.
No, let's do all of them.
All right.
We'll do all of them.
Number 8, I had In Times New Roman.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah, not bad, but it's definitely I've spent the least time with it probably.
Maybe it'll grow on you as time moves on.
Maybe it will grow. I don't not like it. There are songs, but I should listen to it more. But currently bringing up the rear, unfortunately, for it. One of them had to be last. You know, you hate to do it to any of them,
Indeed.
but okay.
Julian, do you have
Give me a second.
Okay, I'll go next.
God damn it, Julian!
I wanna do this
Fuck's
right.
sake.
Mine Lullabies to Paralyze.
Ah. Wow.
As I mentioned, love the songs Burn the Witch and Little Sister. Don't hate the album. It's just the one I've connected to the least.
Sounds like you hate it,
I do fucking hate it.
Julian. You got a number 8 yet?
Yeah, Lullabies. Lullabies
Oh,
to Paralyze.
wow, original.
Okay.
Fuck you, eat my ass.
Yeah, it sounds like you
Well,
didn't have it and you panicked and
I
you stole
didn't
my
know
answer.
we were doing this, so I just did
Well,
it
guess what,
right
dude?
now.
This is what we did
for
last
you.
time.
And I
This is
didn't-
exactly what we did last time.
I didn't steal Connor's.
Okay, well, I was on PCP last time we met up, so I don't really remember too much. I was also, I don't know. Steely Dan, it's like, whatever, they suck. Fuck Steely Dan. But Queens of the Stone Age actually
Okay.
kind of care, so
Okay.
I want to do them justice.
Julian, are we? Why are you being
What?
such a tired little bitch right
Yeah.
now?
Ooh,
Yeah.
so I just put the most effort into my
This-
list out of any
this
of
is-
these fucks
This
sitting
is
around here.
this
so.
is Nirvana. This is Nirvana all over again.
Yeah.
You're just lashing out.
Honestly, if fucking Kurt Cobain hadn't have killed himself, then I'd definitely be on an FBI wanted list right now for all the attempts that I would have made on his life. So-
Attempts. You don't even
That's-
have enough confidence
what?
in yourself to kill Kurt Cobain.
No, I'm just not smart enough to.
Yeah.
I've got plenty of confidence.
You can even kill a guy
Oh.
who desperately wants to die.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying about yourself.
Pretty much. Yeah, let's move on.
All right, Connor, what's your number 7?
Oh, I mean, he definitely would have OD'd on fentanyl in today's day.
Yeah, true. As like a 55-year-old.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's my number 7? You ask? It's Villains.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like I really like all their albums.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm not hating. I'm not trying to be.
No.
a hater,
Yeah. None of us are.
But
We all love
yeah.
all their albums.
I don't think it's front to back their best.
Okay.
I think it's their 7th best.
My number 7 is the self-titled Queens of the Stone Age.
Ugh. Okay.
My number 7 is the self-titled
Oi.
Queens of the Stone Age.
Okay. Why don't you guys jerking each other off under the table there too while you make your rankings?
That
Not that there's
is-
anything wrong with that.
that
Not that
is-
there's anything wrong
I'm
with
doing
that.
foot stuff.
Yeah. We've been doing foot stuff all episode.
Yeah. All right. Well,
There's a reason I
think
cut the
you
camera
guys-
off at our waist.
At waist level.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's because the table blocks anything below that. But there's a second reason
Why do you
I do
think
it
the
too.
table blocks
Yeah, why do you think we
everything?
put the table here?
Yeah, exactly.
That's not to hold our items.
No, I don't have items. These are all borrowed.
All right, Connor, what's your...
I think it's a bad take by both you guys about self-titled. but
Cool.
that's okay.
Well,
I guess it's not that bad of a take because my number 6 is self-titled.
God damn
as I
it.
check my notes.
You just like to contradict our
As
opinions.
as I check my notes, I think I'm gonna flop that though. I'm gonna flop that on the fly, and I'm gonna put lullabies at number 6, and I'm gonna
flop on the fly.
I'm gonna put something else at number 5.
Oh, I can't wait to hear
But
what
it's
that
just,
is.
Can't wait.
It's a surprise. Yeah,
All right.
Little Sister and In My Head and Burn the Witch and Everyone Knows You're Insane.
Yeah.
Good songs off of that one.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna put rated R.
Oh,
You're rated R.
Rated
too?
R.
oh,
Might
Wow.
as well.
I promise I am not looking at Julian's list and he is not looking at mine.
Yeah, you can't even see my list.
Wow.
Yeah, rated R,
Guess
number
what-
6, baby.
I again, not trying to hate. I love it. It's just
Wow. I'm
as an
shocked.
album, it just doesn't connect with me as much as the others.
Same.
There's a bunch of songs I love, but as a holistic album, not yeah.
I bet we
Cool.
have the same list.
I bet our top ones break up. a
Oh,
little bit.
probably, yeah.
All right, 5, Connor.
My 5 is going to be self-titled.
Okay.
I like self-titled a lot. I like the sound. It's different. Sticks out. Got jams on it. I like it.
My 5, Villains.
My
Yeah.
5 is Villains
Oh
as
my
well.
God. We're so
I honestly put
You
Villains
guys-
above their other ones because, like, kind of what we were going back to, like, your Patriots analogy from earlier, but slightly modifying it. I think, like, Era 2 of Queens obviously starts with Like Clockwork. They're kind of two different groups. But I think Villains is, like, even though it's not my favorite by any means and it's kind of broken up conceptually slightly, I still think that it, like what Colin was saying about, like, just grabbing, like, being intriguing, like, it's a super intriguing album and concept, and it's super, super fun to fucking listen to every time, so.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
All right, 4, Connor.
Number 4, Era Vulgaris. Era Vulgaris, number 4.
Nice.
Nice.
I like it. I like the album.
All right, my number 4, In Times New Roman.
My number 4 is In Times
All
New Roman.
right.
Oh my god!
Wow, I can't believe we're
Guys,
syncing
you
up
just
like
kissed
this.
each other already. Jeez Louise.
All
The
right.
closest we've ever been.
Yeah, I know.
Well, good thing I'm here to just provide
throw
some.
a
I
stuff.
know.
fucking
This,
wrench in it.
yeah, truly, because this
And
is
to-
really the most we've ever agreed on music. Me and Julian.
Yeah, this is crazy.
This is crazy.
All right, number 3.
Number 3.
Oh, my number 2 and 3. It's really hard to pick right now, but I'm gonna go number 3, Like Clockwork. But the top 3 for me are all
Oh, hard.
Very
Basically
hard.
perfect.
Same for me. Same for me. All right, my number 3. I bet this is where we differ. Era Vulgaris.
Okay, yep.
Yep.
Number 3 for
Yeah.
me is going to be Songs for the Deaf.
Okay.
okay. Okay.
All right, number 2.
Okay. Number 2 for me is Songs for the Deaf.
This is the first time Connor and I have lined up. Number 2 for me is Songs for the Deaf.
Okay,
Nice.
interesting.
Look at that.
Number 2 for me
What's
is going to
it?
be Like Clockwork.
Okay.
Okay. Can't disagree. I almost made it my number 2. I was going back and forth, but
It's very hard.
So
yeah.
I know what Julian's number 1 is then. Connor, I haven't been keeping track of yours well enough to know what you've left off. What is your number 1?
My number 1 is Rated R.
Rated R. Okay, I thought that was
I
what you
fucking
left
love
off.
Rated R, and I think it's crazy that you guys have it stick. Whoa! See, my phone can't even take it. My phone can't even take
I
it.
can't take it.
6 is crazy. I can't believe you guys.
Yeah.
Honestly. I'm upset, and I just might never come on this podcast again.
Oh, no, whatever will
To
we
be
do.
honest.
Oh, no.
Oh, well,
I, for one, Connor,
you
hope,
know I bring the views.
yeah, you do bring the
It's
views.
true. Our Steely Dan episode has like the most views of any.
That's our top runner.
Most people say it's the best podcadzo ever.
I agree. I've submitted it for podcast awards, and still waiting to hear back from them. But I'm pretty sure we'll get some.
Submitted to the Steely Dan Podcast Awards.
Yes.
The greatest podcast media revolving strictly around Steely Dan.
I don't think I could handle if we didn't win that award.
Yeah, you might.
Okay,
have to
so
shoot yourself in
I
the
might have to
chest.
shoot myself in the chest.
So your number one is Like Clockwork, then?
Like Clockwork, my number one. And
Good.
Julian's
That's good. That's really good.
Thank you. Julian's is Era Vulgaris. No surprises there.
But we all had a different number one.
Yeah,
So that's cool.
That is cool.
we all had Like
I
Clockwork,
can't believe
though.
you guys shit on my number one so hard, but it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a crazy number one to have. in my
I mean,
opinion.
I get it. Like, if you like V1 Queens, then Rated R is definitely the best example of that. And if you like mature
Yeah.
music that's for grown-ups, then you like the new Queens.
Connor's
So-
he's a riff
All right.
guy.
Says the guy who
He's
says
a-
Illmatic is his favorite rap album. That was my favorite rap album, and then I turned
And then
16
I
and
turned
I got
12.
my driver's license, and
Yeah.
I found other rap albums. And
But we all had Light Clockwork and Songs for the Deaf in our top three. Right?
I think those are indisputably great, and I think that Rated R is also indisputably in the top three.
Some people.
It's
But
indisputably in
people's-
your top three.
Yeah.
Yeah, for people who are right.
For people that
It's-
are stuck 20 years
Stuck
in the past.
Whatever.
Although we have songs for
Well,
the
all
deaf.
right. You know what?
We're
I
just
think-
talking about how Oasis is your favorite
Yeah.
band of all time.
Yeah, dude,
You're even further back
I'm
than Connor.
very
Dude,
admittedly stuck in the 90s.
Oasis is a 90s band. Oasis is a 90s band trying to sound like a 60s band.
Hey, Connor, actually some of their best work was in the 2000s.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A
that's what
lot
I've
of people
heard.
say that about Oasis.
Heathen
Yeah,
Chemistry.
they peaked. What's your favorite Oasis year? 2004.
Yeah,
I loved.
that was Heathen Chemistry, and that's actually a very underrated album.
Yeah, it's almost is it underrated or is it just not rated at all? Because nobody's ever listened to it.
It's not rated R. Because then you would like it.
Yep, I would. Well, it's been a contentious podcast, guys. And you guys, I've really been wrong about a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
But
that tends to be our brand.
I think is it fair to say before recent events you thought we were kind of cooler dudes who had a little bit of cooler takes than we actually do?
I am just some of your takes. I just don't understand them, and I don't want to get in trouble here, but maybe you guys should just go listen to Robin and open yourself up to listening to women in music and seeing women as more than just objects, and
yeah, if I want to have my music
see them
fucking
as
nagging
artists,
at me, then I'll
seeing
try
them as
that.
artists no, you guys are cool. We're all cool. Everyone here is cool.
Connor, you're very cool.
Yeah,
I love you,
you're
man.
Pretty cool,
I
dude.
love having you on the podcast.
I think you guys are cool.
It's
Thanks
always
for having me.
It's always such a delight to have you on. You really do bring the views, so we appreciate it.
You're the money man.
This
I'll
was,
make sure to repost.
Thank you. This was a blast.
I'm on talk.
I
Always.
think as essential as our Steely Dan was to the Steely Dan canon, this certainly will be to Queens of the Stone Age.
Plus, I think
Yeah, I
Trent
think-
Reznor is gonna be very sad after this. We might have to hit up
Mhm.
Trent and make sure he's okay.
I think sad works well for him. I think he'll be fine.
He definitely wears it good.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, check for this episode dropping on Netflix in the next couple weeks here.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
we're gonna be doing a really cool 9/11 conspiracy doc as well.
David Fincher is.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, obviously he
We-
wrote
and-
all of
yeah.
this, so
Well, I heard Trent Reznor is going to score this episode with Atticus Ross.
I heard that Atticus Ross is pretty upset because he actually thinks 9/11 really happened. So, I don't know.
What did you guys have to say about Nine Inch Nails in the top 100?
I said that Pretty Hate Machine should be there
Pretty Hate
instead
Machine's
of whatever album was. Their second
I feel
album.
like, I don't know, I really like the song Closer. Not that that's like it's like their most popular song, but it's a banger.
It is a banger. It's a great song. But I think Pretty Hate Machine as an album is better. Than
Well,
what
listening homework listening for the listeners. Social Network soundtrack. Third Eye Blind.
Third Eye Blind. Heathen Chemistry by
Self-titled.
Oasis.
That one's certainly optional. Well, next time you have me on, we can do a deep dive on Third Eye Blind self-titled, maybe.
Let's do it. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about sophomore slumps.
Yes. Yeah, we could. Maybe we could do two for there.
A
We
two
could
for
probably
A doofer?
not to invite myself back on.
No,
but-
of course, dude. And it's keeping in tradition. We always plan out the next time we're gonna have you on during the episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does
That's-
August 22nd work for you? Don't answer that.
I think
I want to
that.
be surprised.
Whenever you guys have a gap, just let me know.
You'll fill that gap.
Oh, I've got a gap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could be.
needs filling.
I'll fill your gaps. I'll fill you guys up.
All right. With that,
All right.
we'll wrap this up. Thanks, Connor. We love you. Have a good
Thanks,
rest of your
guys.
night. See you next time. Thanks for
All
listening
right.
to
Keep it
Podcadzo.
real.
Good night.
Keep it steezy. Do people still say that?